That's right. We got a mother soundboard. I gotta get a bleep. That's another. I gotta bleep myself. All right, we got a mother in soundboard here. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got here? You know, it wouldn't be a complete soundboard without Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right? Isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger always like a mainstay of these soundboards?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
When I was like 14, I'd go on Kazaa or whatever. Kazaa, you know, programmed by our friend Jan Tallinn.
Uh,
And I would get these like prank phone call MP3s, and it would be like you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger prank calling people. Like somebody would use an Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard to prank call people and be like, "Who is your daddy and what does he do?"
oh my God, I remember those. They're so funny.
Yeah, good times, good times. Early 2000s, man.
Yeah.
Watching those Family Guy, you know, badly encoded Family Guy video downloads. I don't know what you were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Those are yeah, prank calls. Those are early days of the internet. Those are they're funny. Gotta love that.
yeah. Uh, all right, let's do an AV check here. So we should be live on YouTube. Let's see if the crew is here. I need 28 people. Okay, I missed the 28 people from last Friday. I hope they'll come back. Let's see.
No chats yet.
No chats yet. Okay. Uh, okay. Hold on. Oh God. Okay, so there's like a separate fucking May 1st one. Okay, so there's definitely, you know, Riverside has left some dog poop sitting around our YouTube, like some episodes that are like invalid, some corrupted episodes. So let me go clear those out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because Riverside was being buggy, basically, our streaming software. So one sec.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Hi, Liron and Ori.
Hi. You know, we got a soundboard. Let's see. Look at this. Look at this. That's right. Or he doesn't have it yet. Only I do.
Yeah. That was great. What was that? A whip?
Yeah, exactly. It was a whip. And let's see what else we got here. Take that to the
Cha-ching!
bank.
That's every Yudkowsky debate.
Yep. Ka-ching. You know, we should do the cha-ching. And of course, I've still got the old-fashioned sound effect as well. We're doing it manual here. Okay, so I see the YouTube. I see, so Helene is here. Griffin Detrick is here. All right, we got a first question. We'll be getting to that soon. But, you know,
Nice.
we gotta get our bearings here. We gotta recap the week. Let me just make sure here. Let
Nice.
me
These are I feel
see.
like
Let
these
me
are some
see.
questions hot off the Ben Goertzel episode.
Totally, yeah. All right, so I'm looking nice. It looks like we are in fact live on YouTube, and so if I like to screen share it. Sorry, live on YouTube, like on live on Twitter. So you guys know the drill. We're going to be going over the week. We're going to talk about what happened. This is a live call-in show. You know, end of the month, we try to hear your voice, make your voice heard. This is your platform. Okay, we'll platform you here on Doom Debates if you have a a heterodox opinion. Also, anybody, if you want to jump in front of the queue, same rules as Eliezer. You can pay $10,000, and we'll dedicate the whole episode to you. Ori and
That's
I were
generous
talking
of
about
you.
making a GoFundMe. Yeah, we were talking about making a GoFundMe where we just raise $10,000 and we just get Eliezer back on the show because, like, hey, it's good content for us and maybe other people want to see it too.
Yeah. You just need a
Yeah,
sacrificial lamb to debate him.
right, exactly. Yeah, we need the next 47B. Somebody saying any warning shot sound. Yeah, hold on. I think I got one. I'm still getting the hang of the soundboard here. You guys will have to bear with me. I'll be like a soundboard pro before you know it. But oh, here we go. Okay, you guys ready for some warning shots? There it is. There it is.
That is a warning
Guess what?
shotgun. That is a serious
Exactly, a
fire
warning
right
shot.
there.
So guess what? Last Sunday, I actually went shooting because in upstate New York, that's actually something that guys do here.
Mhm.
And my friend actually took me shooting and I fired a gun and I'm like, oh, this is so great. I'm gonna like, because I have a video of myself, I'm like, I'm gonna post this on warning shots. It's gonna be like a real warning shot. And then John and Michael were like, no, 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 delete that video, right? Because think about it. It's like, because they're like, you know, Nirit Weissblatt, right? The one who's
Yeah.
always, she's probably here right now. She's
She's
probably one
watching.
of the
Hey,
11
Nuri.
viewers. Yeah, yeah, Neri, hey, welcome to the show. We will not be showing the firearm video, but it's like Neri is going to take the video of like me at the firing range and then cut it with like, you know, a mass, you know, terrorism at a concert or whatever. It'd be like, this is what the AI doomers are doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
or exactly, yeah. So I've learned my lesson there. You know, Poe's law is something that took many decades to sink in for me because I used to post things and I'm like, my humor is good. People are gonna get my humor. And now, you know, Holly Elmore was early to this idea that like you just have to literally say what you mean with no humor. And like if you can manage to be funny while saying exactly 100% what you mean explicitly, then great. But if you're trying to use like irony where you're only saying the opposite of what you mean, then don't do it. And I guess that's why people invented, you know, the DM chats, right? That's why people go on DM. They don't post publicly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some risk to humor, and so yeah, yeah. I mean, and now you're a somewhat public figure, so anything you say, maybe people will try and use it against you.
Exactly. I'm a public figure with an enormous platform. We'll talk about that later. With this idea that platforms like this are actually poised to grow because there's a rising tide of prominence of the issue. And there's a rising tide of money, right? There's a torrent of money coming. So we'll talk about that soon.
Oh yeah.
But for now, yeah, in the meantime, I will just say, God damn it. Where is it? I was going to do a sound effect. Damn. Okay. Well, the moment's gone. I don't know where it went. I think I deleted.
It's like the Mario coin. Look at all this money.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. In the meantime, I was just going to say, all right.
YouTube donations. You can make a YouTube.
Right,
comment.
exactly. That's right. Make your YouTube donations. I'm going to set a goal here. The goal amount is we need 50 super chats, and each of them needs to be at least $100, and then we'll extend the episode. Okay. Here I'm saying extend the episode. Start goal. Okay, I know you guys are all getting your Anthropic secondaries here in the chat. Okay, I know you're wasting time on Friday at Anthropic, so definitely, you know, we will take donations in equity, but I'll sell the equity immediately. I don't want to be a schmo holding Anthropic equity. That would be a bad look.
Yeah. Hey, one thing about the AV is I think we should. You know how we put you on the left, like you adjusted the video. Yeah. You should do that.
All right, one sec. Yeah, you know, if you guys notice in the video, it's kind of an Easter egg, but I'm always on the left because subliminally, we want you to think that I'm like your primary guide to the world of AI Doom. All right. Yeah, so let's get to it, okay? So first thing, hold on, let me pull out the list of what we're going to talk about here. We're going to obviously get to the recap of the week. Oh, we got to do less online, right? That's number one.
There you go.
And also, you know, now that I think about it, we got to strategize the show because we talked about this last week. Like, for the recording, I guess it's fine, but for the live audience, it's a weird, you know, this whole idea of bearing the lead, where you want to get your best stuff up front, like at the very beginning. Well, if the live audience is trickling in, we actually get our highest audience like halfway through. So it's like a weird format. I'm not used to it, right? So you got to drop the best stuff halfway through. But I think we'll probably, you know, what we should do is we should not bury the lead. We should start off with the best stuff, but then for the benefit of the live audience, we should just hit on the stuff again in the middle, and the recording audience won't mind too much. So we got, you know, it's double tap.
Nice. This is sophisticated streaming etiquette. Yeah. Strategy. I agree. I think start with the bet because you wanna be, you know, you wanna have it be good for the on-demand listeners. So you should start with the best thing.
Yeah. You got to please everybody in a subtle way. You know, it's like, have you heard about how like Netflix, they specifically script their shows so that the characters are always like explaining the plot and being super obvious because they're purposefully getting the audience of like, oh yeah, this is like your TV in the kitchen while you're cooking and you're not paying attention.
Okay, I didn't know. Well, but that happens in every show though. I don't see how it's so different.
Well, they're making it extra obvious, right? They're like violating the rules of like normal screenplays.
Oh, I see.
Cool. All right. So yeah, let's talk about less online for the benefit of the recorded audience, not the live people. The live people are all fashionably late. Okay, we couldn't care less about the people who are here right now at the early in the episode. You guys are not the intended audience for this. Okay, but for you guys on the recording, all right, just between me and you, we're Doom Debates is going to be sponsoring Less Online in 2 weeks, June 5th through 7th. Really cool conference in Berkeley. It's really the only conference that I plan to go to on a yearly basis. I may not go to any other conferences this year. We'll see. I know producer Rory is going to go to a couple of other conferences. So we're going to go to Less Online in Berkeley. It's It's called Less Online because it's kind of based on Less Wrong. It's put on by the people who run the Less Wrong site. Lightcone Infrastructure is the organization. I think Oliver Habrika is the president and founder of that organization, and I know most of the people in the organization. Really cool people, really rational people, nice people. So yeah, I'm a fan of what they do in their conference, and I consider myself like part of the community. Okay, I'm a self-designated part of the community, and I have the karma to prove it. I have like 4,000 karma on the site or whatever. And guess what? Doom Debates is an official sponsor, right? We can now announce the deal has been made. That's right. Doom Debates will be sponsoring Less Online. That's right. We definitely negotiated hard to be the sponsor. There's a lot of competition to sponsor Less Online. And it's kind of a sweetheart deal. It's not like we have that much money to throw at this, right? I mean, we're always asking for your guys' money. We're not like wasting a ton of money sponsoring conferences. It was a relatively modest amount for a sponsorship, but it's a sweetheart deal because just like I appreciate Less Wrong and Less Online, they have some appreciation for what we're doing here at Doom Debates. They know that our values are consistent with what they're trying to do. They know that we're here to elevate the discourse. A lot of them happen to agree with our central claims that PDoom is high, and the ones that don't think PDoom is super high, they still respect what we're doing of like, look, it's a good discourse, right? So at least come for the high PDoom, stay for the discourse. Like they get both prongs of the mission. And so that's why we were able to find a mutually beneficial sponsorship arrangement. And that brings us to our call for interns, kind of, or helpers, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, we are offering, if you're watching the stream right now, or I should say, if you're listening to the recording, right? That's who I'm really talking to. If you're here right now, hearing my voice, you obviously have some affinity to the show and somewhat support the mission. If you are thinking of going to Less Online, or you think it's interesting, check out this deal we can make you. We're actually looking for 2 helpers, Friday through Sunday, June 5th through 7th in Berkeley, California. If you can get there and handle your own accommodations, we will give you free admission to the whole conference if you're our helper. And on top of that, pay you, hold on a second, $500.
Let's go. That's money in the bank. That is money in the bank. Come on, do
it. Yeah, so we're offering $500 plus free admission to the conference. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. Like, honestly, I do think there are some of you who are like, man, go to Less Online. I looked at that conference and it looks interesting, but where am I going to get $675, right? And we've solved that problem for you. We're going to get you free admission. And don't forget about the $500. That's just an extra bonus. So, I would argue it's overdetermined that you should do this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and can we hype up who's going to be there too? I mean, consider some of these names, okay? Eliezer Yudkowsky, Zvi Moshowitz, Daniel Kokotalo, Robin Hansen, and did I say Scott Alexander? The one and only Scott Alexander.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, these are very high quality people. Yeah. And, of course, we'll be there too. You guys already know us, but. Yeah! It's something, Yeah, so we're going to have a merch table and you're going to be helping us staff the table, giving out the t-shirts, we should get sweatshirts too. I don't know, sweatshirts are more expensive. So we'll have to think about how to budget this. Okay. My family is starving. Help me budget this.
Does the sweatshirt have the P Doom thing on the back?
Yeah, check this out, okay? I'm gonna fashion model it for you. Here we go.
Oh, snap, it's on the back too. Hell yeah.
We should get a sound effect we should get the P Doom theme as a sound effect, We're really upping our game here.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll do it a cappella. P Doom. There. All right. Yeah, so hope you guys will join us at Less Online. If you don't want to volunteer and be our wage slave for the whole conference, that's totally fine. We encourage you to just go to less.online and come to the conference anyway and say hi to us and be independent. But then we also encourage you to wear our t-shirt. So yeah, just, great conference. Hit us up if you have any questions or you're considering coming. And yeah, hope to talk to you. Anything else to say about Less Online, Ori?
Yeah, if you're interested in doing the paid gig, then to internship at doomdebates.com.
Yes, you can email internship@doomsdays.com. You can also talk to us in the show Discord, which is doomdebates.com/Discord. That's where the Discord is. There's something else we can say about Less Online, okay? Which is we are going to have a live taping. Yeah, soundboard. Yeah, I'm building habits here. Live taping. It is. It's going to be, in the main stage at Less Online. The guest is to be announced. At Manifest conference last year, I did a Liron versus everybody. So there was no guest. It was literally just me debating the entire audience where I would be like, okay, raise your hand if you have this position. And then I would call on people to make the argument on behalf of everybody with that position. So we might do that, or we might have a special guest. We're currently recruiting. So if you're listening to this and you're coming to Less Online and you want to debate me live or debate somebody else live, definitely hit me up because it's to be determined. So that is one reason to come to Less Online. That is one reason to help out, is because we're doing this cool program on the stage and we're giving merch. All right, I think we've said all there is to say about Less Online.
Yep, it's gonna be a good time. I mean, and it's so soon, just 2 weeks. Yeah. So you got to get those applications in if you're interested in going.
Exactly, it's a great time. When are you gonna go? In June 5th to 7th to go somewhere to have a great time? Are you gonna go to Miami or something? No, hell no. Go to Less Online. All right.
Yeah. And it is genuinely the last, I mean, you've done a great plug for it. I mean, the last thing I think that's worth mentioning is that I do, I genuinely think it is a great event. I mean, it's at an awesome venue and the people are really smart, and it's welcome to, nerds and rationalists and normies.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. It's in rationalists and normies alike. Correct. All right. It's open to everybody on the entire autism spectrum. Okay. And by spectrum I also mean not having it at all, right? So normies, that's also a point on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on here. We're going to do episode recaps and tweets. All right, so episode recaps. Okay, so we started off the week with a real banger. Start off with a banger. It was Ben Goertzel. He was definitely one of the most sought after guests. And I guess we can screen share. We can read off some of the comments because this is definitely a high performing episode. It's getting plenty of views and comments.
Yeah. So
it's good. All right, let's get the screen share going. One sec. So this is why Ori needs a soundboard, so he could be entertaining you guys during this.
Yeah, I know. It's the last second edition. I don't have the soundboard. I myself am a human soundboard.
Ori, vamp.
Vamp. Okay.
Exactly. Ori, show us some of your tweets too. You should load up your browser.
My favorites. They're all right now. This week, it's all Ashley St. Clair gossiping about Elon. I cannot get enough.
I saw a little bit of that. Yeah. Wasn't there a rumor that he impregnated an Asian person?
Oh, that could be. He now has children with over in the ballpark of 10 women. I mean, so why not throw another one in there?
Exactly. All right. So we're gonna pull up the Ben Goertzel singularity
talking friendly to us.
Nice.
There we go.
We can hear the audio. By the way. I heard that.
You can or you can't.
I did. I heard it.
You did. Okay, great. All right, so here's the screen. Let me try to make it reasonable dimensions. All right, so let's see what viewers were saying. I mean, let me give my own recap of the episode, okay? I'll be honest, between you and me on Friday, okay? I don't say this during the episode, but I definitely disagree with his main claims. Is that fair to say?
I mean, it's fair to say. It's what you believe. So I don't think it's so wrong of you to say it.
Right. I mean, look, it's just he's, the history with Eliezer, we didn't get into this too much in the episode, but he was one of the only people thinking about AGI, back in the day, decades ago, and Eliezer was too. And it really was slim pickings in terms of who's even thinking about this. And there was a time when Eliezer thought that he was just going to build AGI. And of course it's going to be good because the singularity is awesome, right? And which is my default position before I learned about all the safety stuff. And then and then Eliezer had this realization of like, oh, this is probably going to go bad. Like, we don't know how to align this thing, and it's just going to take over, and then we're going to be dead, which is what a lot of us believe now. And so he basically tried to convince Ben Goertzel of that, and Ben is like, no, man, no, yeah, I don't believe you, man. And so then they split off. And also, I don't think that his research led anywhere from Eliezer's perspective. I don't want to speak for Eliezer, and obviously Ben's research is still going. But put it this way: whatever value they used to find in his research, they split ways, and so they're not aligned, right? However you want to, whyever you think that's the case, right? He's not part of MIRI now. So now he just debated me because I wanted to take his temperature, right? I wanted to see where he's at, and from my perspective, I wouldn't want him to be part of MIRI because I think he's largely dismissing the urgency of the AI safety issue, right?
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go all the way and say he's a total doom dismisser, but he's close.
Yeah, it's strange the difference between the like in the moment reaction and the holistic view. So it's like, you got really specific with him and you asked him, on the spectrum of orthogonality thesis, you agree with it in theory. And he's like, yeah, I agree with it in theory. Yes, AI could be very powerful. But then on his holistic view, it's like he'll agree with you on those points, but holistically, it's like, no, I'm not too worried about it.
Right. I mean, he's managed to acknowledge some stops on the doom train. Like he rode with me past the stop of like, oh yeah, it's going to be really powerful really soon. Right. But then the moment we started talking about like, okay, well, don't you think we're just going to like have one that goes out of control? He's like, no, I don't think that. And he's like, he used the phrase like it's like a narrow-minded or immature perspective or whatever. So definitely a big divergence. And then, he even mentioned like, oh, it's going to have this drive to transcend itself. And I'm like, I'm not really seeing transcendence of the universal drive the way Ben does, right? So we're two very different people, different mindsets, I guess. And yeah, it's just the fact that he's built, he's built an AI really quick, and he admits to not being super focused on safety yet. So that's my takeaway from it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad we got it out there. As Zvi Moshowitz says, sir, can you please speak that into the microphone? Right, I feel like we got him to speak into the microphone what his current opinion is, and you can take it or leave it. I think that there was a skew in the comments as expected, where people mostly were on my team being like, okay, I don't agree with this, but there were certainly some people. I mean, there were a lot of reactions like, hey, he seems like a nice guy, right? Like there were a lot of, I definitely know people who are like, man, I really dig his vibe so much. He's a great guy. So at least he's got that going.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. What I think is interesting is just that he's still, he's working on his kind of pet project to build AGI, right? And
right.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't seem like they have that much traction. I mean, he talked a little bit about the traction, but he's been working on different angles for a while. And yet his views are pretty important. Like here we are now in the time of AGI because Eliezer and Transformers have
talking friendly to us.
They found a pretty good approach, and it's like we're getting closer to this, intelligence takeoff, right? And it's like the philosophy really applies. So all the like strategy and philosophy that he's thinking about is relevant. It just so happens that like the technology approach that he's taking is maybe not the one that's going to build the AGI. So I don't know. I find that interesting because, the way he's talking now, he could have been saying the exact same thing 10 years ago. It's like if Transformers were never invented, it would be the same conversation with Ben Goertzel. So it's like the alignment philosophy and all of that, like 20 years ago, basically, this like the point is 20 years ago, like the split between him and Yudkowsky, it's like, oh, who cares? These guys are just off in fantasy land. Like, who cares about this, this rift that they have? And yet now here we are 20 years later, and, the actual technology is there and the actual beliefs matter. So, I mean, it's important to hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, and you could argue Eliezer is also here saying the exact same stuff, right? So everybody accuses everybody of like not updating on evidence. There's that dynamic to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the commenters are saying, let's see, the top comments here. Sort by top. My friend just asked me if Ben was Ray Kurzweil's dad. Hell yes, Goertzel, let's go. This guy is a good man. Keep him coming. You are doing good work. All right, so in terms of substantive comments, let's see. I cannot understand these AGI accelerationists. They are out there thinking these alien wombats are going to be just peachy. Okay, I agree with that. Let's see. I like how he says humans the same way as Yudkowsky. Got a point there. I noticed he called Eliezer Ellie. I feel like that's like an affectionate nickname. Nobody else is allowed to call him that.
It sounded like that, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, people are commenting that my expression was too, distasteful. Like I wasn't poker face enough. Okay, fair enough.
That was a funny one. You never get that comment.
Yeah, I mean, he did talk for a long time, right? So it's a part of it is honestly, I do get bored because I like to listen to podcasts at like 3x speed, and that is part of my job. That's like the worst part of my job as a host, is that I have to, when the guest is talking a long time at 1x, I do get bored. Okay, to be honest.
Wow.
I'm instituting a rule, okay? If you want to be a good guest, you really got to keep your part of the conversation to like 90 seconds, right? You really shouldn't be talking for more than 90 seconds. Like ask the host a question, okay? I feel like that's reasonable.
But if they're a fast talker, then you might be cool with it.
Yeah, I guess. But then you don't need to say as right. You can talk shorter because you're a fast talker. Okay. Yeah, so that's Goertzel. Let's see if the live commenters say, our valued live commenters, our favorite people here that we're definitely talking to. They're saying, what do you think? Are we going to get one solid disease cure before we all die? Yeah, good question. All right, so I think we're done with Goertzel. And then later this week, yesterday, we dropped a 2024 episode that we are, repost about Martin Casado. We can go to that for a second. Yeah. I actually think that this is like an important episode. I feel like it's underrated. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, going back to Ben Goertzel, I mean, I actually think that, okay, so you disagree with him, but I actually thought it was kind of subtle where the difference was or what you thought was like, where you thought he was putting his cards on the table. And I guess you've done a few tweets now to like show, okay, this is, where I disagree with Ben Goertzel. So I think it'd be interesting to talk about that for a second. Like, what was it?
Okay, like the exact disagreement with the argument?
Yeah, like,
okay, you're right. I mean, I didn't say it right now. Yeah. Okay, sure. Well, you're right. We should just go do the clips, right? Because I pulled out moments that I thought were significant and I posted them on Twitter. So let's see.
Right.
All right, 1 second. This is a brilliant segue, Ori, because we're about to go, dive into Twitter. That's a big mainstay of these kind of shows. So, all right, I'm pulling up my bookmarks. 1 sec.
Give the people what they want. Give me the Twitter feed. I'm fiending for it.
Yes, exactly. All right, hold on a second. Yeah, and I tweeted. I'll share the tab in a second. Here we go. Yeah. So I got this caption. I thought this caption was had viral potential, which is Doom Debates asks hard questions like. And then my question is, when you have your projects to build AGI, at what point are you not just maximizing capabilities, but making a trade-off to get more alignment instead? And I said, other shows feel free to do the same. So in my mind, this is a mic drop moment. I don't have a mic drop a sound effect. What's the closest thing to a mic drop?
Just literally just hit the mic like a.
Yeah. I don't know. Chunk. Yeah. I'm realizing, we need so many different sound effects here. So what about this? Not exactly. Okay, good. Whatever. I thought it was, that's pretty good. I thought it was a mic drop moment because it is kind of ridiculous how nobody asks the hard questions, right? Like nobody gets somebody prominent on their show and then hits them with a hard question, right? That's like, it's not really done in our society.
It's a great question.
I thought it was a mic. Right.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, welcome to my interview. Yeah. All right. So here's the actual hard question and his response, and you guys can judge it for yourself. So if I just take the last thing you're saying now of like, hey, when we build super intelligent AI, we should really try to put like caring for humanity or caring for sentient life as being near the center of its goal system.
Yes.
When you have your project to build AGI, at what point are you not just maximizing capabilities, but making a trade-off to get more alignment instead?
So I would say we haven't hit that point yet in my own projects, but it's not hard to see how that would happen, because we already have early experiments we're running now where misalignment of various sorts happens, and then we have to sort of rein experimental agents in and reboot and realign. We're going to get a practical sense of how to manage it during a pre-AGI phase, and I think that's sort of how it has to be. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to solve that problem by theory alone any more than they could solve the problem of how to make a scalable transformer by theory alone, right? It's AI is developing by it's developing by a mix of theory and practice.
Common thing we hear that you gotta, launch these AIs and have their capabilities grow in order to effectively have a loop, right? A feedback loop that can help you align it, right?
I didn't want it to be that way. Like, I spent a lot of time last year trying to do an in-depth mathematical analysis of, self-modification and the stability of goals under self-modification. And I think I made a lot of progress there. But what I found is you can make more progress mathematically under assumptions of very rich resources. Like, when you get closer to superintelligence, it becomes more tractable from a math standpoint. And, Miri, Eliezer Yudkowsky's group, kind of found the same thing. Like, they did a bunch of nice papers about the AXE type stuff, like the case where you're near infinite compute size, right? And you can do more nice theory there, but the nice theory doesn't seem to tell you that much about systems that are just barely big enough to do general intelligence, right? There, it's very messy, and it seems like you're figuring things out through a mix of theory and practice, and that's not satisfying to me intellectually. It just seems to be the real situation.
That was a key issue.
It's pretty damning that he's like, okay, we tried it in theory, and the theory doesn't give us very much. So just build it, I guess. I mean, that's why you think it's so damning.
Right. It's like what he said is he's saying, hey, the end game it's easy to predict that it's going to be coherent in the end game, or like I have math to show that, which is like true. I mean, utility theory says when you have a utility function, your utility function says to preserve your utility function. Goals do tend to be stable in the limit. I believe that. And like I said on the show, and he's saying, yeah, we don't really have math for the current situation. And I'm like, right. So it's probably going to converge on aligned goals, right? Like, that's the problem. And I think he agrees that is like a risk. He's just more optimistic that somehow it won't happen.
Why is it more likely to converge on unaligned goals?
Well, we just don't. The whole premise of if anyone builds it, everyone dies is we don't have the tools to make it converge to align goals. And I think a lot of people will admit, like, yeah, we'll just keep iterating. We'll just keep trying, and if we see a problem, we'll like try to stop it and fix it. Which, when you dig in, you're like, wait, are you going to always be able to stop it and fix it, right? I feel like that's the part that people are hand-waving about, of like, oh, well, maybe we can. Like, it's hard to. We're talking about getting into a messy situation in terms of like predicting what stopping will look like, right? Like, we're starting to lose theory about what it means to stop an AI, like, and it's not intuitive yet, because when you use Claude Code, there's an obvious stop button, right? It's not intuitive where Claude Code is going to like spin up like an independent virus subagent. Like, it spins up subagents, but they all respond to a stop command. So people don't get how we're about to lose that familiar property.
Yeah. Great question.
All right.
Great exchange. Good. Like you said, good to get those views on the record.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to Twitter, because we got a bunch of bookmarks. Zvi Moshowitz pointed out you might consider this a relatively uneventful week, because all we got was like a frontier progress in math proving. That's pretty much all that. It's not like there was a new model drop or anything. It was just proving something that humans weren't able to prove for 100 years. So slow week.
Wasn't there also a model drop? All the new Gemini releases.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, there's no model drop. Oh wait, there was one. Yeah, Gemini 3.5 Flash, which is actually on some dimensions, it's arguably, there's a little bit of doubt, but it's arguably on the Pareto frontier of being slightly more cost efficient and somewhat more speed efficient for the same performance. For some use cases. So you're right. No, we did get a model drop it and increasing the Pareto frontier. So I've just been, my dopamine neurons have just been completely wiped out and unable to perceive, that amount of progress anymore.
Right.
Yeah, so that's as good a starting point as any, though. Let's head over to OpenAI's site where they talk about their math breakthrough, because this was a big deal. I talked about it on Warning Shots. It's going to be dropping this weekend. Let me share the tab. All right, how are we doing with the screen share? One sec.
It's just breakthrough math, Liron. Come on.
Yeah, exactly right.
What's
I mean,
the
that's what
big
Gary
deal?
Marcus would say. Yeah.
Is he saying that?
Yeah, he was somewhat downplaying it. He's like, I'm skeptical that this was really LLMs, but actually, I think Gary Marcus's position, it's a bit hard to pin down, but I think his position is one that doesn't make super confident predictions, because my best guess, if I were to have him back on the show and be like, so what's your prediction here? He'd probably be like, well, my prediction is just that we're going to inject neuro-symbolic AI into these LLMs, and so maybe the timeline will be kind of fast. Like he was a little bit skeptical on timelines, but he was willing to acknowledge like a 1/3 probability that timelines would be fast. That's what I remember when he came on Doom Debates, which good for him coming on Doom Debates. Yeah, so this isn't Gary Marcus is a friend of the show, so that I'm not in the business of dunking on him. I will acknowledge that other people find him to be like a good target for dunking. But like I think when he came on the show, he set his position, and I think that it was kind of like a position that doesn't make like super strong predictions, and he has made like a few predictions, and some of his predictions have came true. So like he's kind of a hard one, right? He's a hard one to like call him out as being like, you were so confident and so wrong about this, because he does have ways that he can say no, I wasn't, and it's not like super cut and dried. So that's pretty much all I have to say about him.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, and I respect him for coming on the show. So here's OpenAI's website. Let's see how they're publicizing their recent math breakthrough. So where is it? It should be here. You'd think they would tout it. Is it already scrolled off the front page? Math breakthrough scrolled off the front page. Let's see. No, it shouldn't have scrolled off the front page. Maybe it's like in their separate research blog.
Wait, I think I saw
it's got to be.
It was the third item.
Third item. Let's see. Okay, it's like find the math breakthrough here.
I know.
Advancing voice, no. Content provenance, personal finance. I mean, it kind of makes sense that here in the homepage they're only putting things that are relevant to like the average consumer, right? So maybe I'll here OpenAI research, right? So they'd be on the research section. Okay, an OpenAI model has disproved a central conjecture. So right, disprove the conjecture. So I think most smart math, that's an interesting fact about this, by the way, is most smart mathematicians were agreeing with Erdős's original conjecture here, and ChatGPT came in and is like, guess what? I'm disproving the conjecture. Which I think it's rare for conjectures to get disproven. I feel like they're more often proven than disproven.
Interesting.
Yeah, here we go. For nearly 80 years, mathematicians have studied a deceptively simple question. If you place n points in the plane, how many pairs of points can be exactly distance 1 apart? Right. I mean, when I first thought of this question, I'm like, shit, how do you... I didn't have much intuition about this question, right? Like my intuition is just like, I don't know. Don't you just like put them in a square and it is what it is? Like there's not much you can do, right? That was I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this, Ori? Any mathematical thoughts?
No, absolutely not. I mean...
Yeah, it's like, sorry, I'm tapped out. My intuition is tapped out. This is why I didn't go into math. But let me see. I wanted to show, I think on this page they've got like a little visual we can look at. Let's see, what do we got here? Here we go. Okay, so the proof is, well, here you can find an abridged version of the chain of thought here. Okay, previously known construction of many unit distances from receiver. All right, let's try to do this. Nobody's drilling down like this. This is why you come to this show, because it's 10 IQ points above your average YouTube pundit. Okay, so this is supposed to be, I mean, I'm just confused as to why there would be lines. There seems to be like a bunch of lines crossing over stuff, but I don't get how the lines can cross if points are 1 unit distance apart, right? Aren't the lines all supposed to be 1 unit distance? Are the points less? Oh, maybe the points are like less than a unit distance? Fuck, I thought this would be easier. Okay. I don't know. I thought I would know how far away the points are. I don't even know that. All right, commenters, if you understand how far away these points in this grid are supposed to be, let me know.
Are the points being connected there? There are lines between the points? That's the idea?
Right. I mean, I think the idea is you're trying to maximize how many like unit lines there are, but I just don't know if the points represent units or the lines represent units. So
Yeah.
I got nothing for you guys here. I hope 3 blue, 1 brown takes this on. But anyway, so whatever the challenge is, okay, that you can see there's been improvements, Erdős unit distance problem accuracy at test time. Okay, I don't have enough context about this graph. Okay, I pulled up an article that was a little too hard to understand in real time. Sorry. But yeah, I encourage, we'll get back to it next week when I've watched enough explainers. We'll bring you guys more context.
Well, what about
but yeah,
the,
like I said, it disproved the conjecture. Yeah, go ahead.
what about the Tim Gowers video that you tweeted? I mean, that's a pretty good explanation. You got the expert being like, "Yeah, this is a tough problem." Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll go find it. Let's see if it's in my Twitter bookmarks here. Give me a second.
I mean, it was. I think you tweeted it related to your take on one of the famous people who always comes up on here, David Deutsch.
Oh, right. That's when I tweeted it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so this is my usual challenge, okay? So let's get in the brawl here. So instead of talking about the math, let's just say that we challenged David Deutsch and I said, let's play Is It New Knowledge? With David Deutsch, right? Because he has this whole thing. If you go search like Doom debates, Eliezer Yudkowskyan versus David Deutschian debate, because it was a proxy debate. We couldn't get the real people on there. So it was just me versus Brett Hall. No disrespect to Brett, but yeah, so we debated over whether AIs create new knowledge, and he took the Deutschian position that no, they totally don't. And so here we have a mother freaking math proof, right? Like a frontier math proof that no human had managed to do for 100 years, right? Like how old are the Erdős problems? Let me ask ChatGPT here. Okay, how old are, hold on, I gotta verify I'm a human. How old are the Erdős problems? I think they're 100 years old. I know there's the Hilbert problems as well. Those are from like 1900, I think.
This question from the tweet, it says 1946, so 80 years.
Oh,
Nearly
1946.
80 years.
Okay, yeah, so almost, 80 years. Yeah, I mean, these are super old problems, right? So, okay, so it solved an 80-year-old problem where if you'd asked a human, I don't think the human would have been like, oh yeah, I just need a tiny bit of help. I almost got this. I think the human would be like, yeah, I'm pretty stumped about this. And it put a bunch of pieces together in a way that humans really hadn't thought of before. That's what I'm hearing from people who are tweeting about this. Which I'm not surprised. I mean, I've said this on the show, my day-to-day experience working with AI as a coworker when I'm like solving problems in my code base, right, as a programmer, is that it's always putting pieces together. And I've said this before, I have this experience where like I try to think through the pieces and I'm like, I'm stuck. And then instead of me trying to think more, I'm like, I'm done thinking. From now on, you're going to take over as the thinker, like figure it out. And then it like says something like, I don't think you're right. Why don't you try thinking again? Like that's what I've become. Okay. I've totally outsourced this whole idea of thinking.
Wild.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that it thought all the way to a frontier proof.
Yeah, I mean, did you look at the chain of thought? Did you look at that document?
I didn't look at the raw. I look at some people commenting on it and being like, "Yep, this is like legitimately brilliant." Like if a student turned this in, I wouldn't see any problem. You know, I'd be like, "This is like good work."
It was like 100. I mean, I didn't read it that closely. I scanned it
Yeah,
mostly,
here
but
postmodern in the comments is saying just the chain of thought is 150 pages.
yeah, 150 pages, and it's like very sophisticated. Like, well, maybe I should try the like to approach it from this theory. And you know, if you the way the problem is prosed, then this mathematical theory makes sense. I mean, it's impressive chain of thought.
Yeah, wow, huh? Crazy. Okay. So Timothy Gower is one of the world's top mathematicians. He who likes to report on this kind of thing. He's saying if you're a mathematician, then you may want to make sure you are sitting down before reading further. AI has now solved a major open problem, one of the best known Erdős problems called the unit distance problem, one of Erdős's favorite questions, and one that many mathematicians had tried, right? They'd already tried their hand at it. That's what's crazy. The relationship between this and the math result I previously tweeted about reminds me of the passage from Beatrix Potter's The Tale of Jeremy Fisher. So he's got, all right, what's he got here? An excerpt. And while Mr. Jeremy sat Disconsolately on the edge of his boat, sucking his sore fingers and peering down into the water, a much worse thing happened. A really frightful thing it would have been if Mr. Jeremy had not been wearing a Macintosh. All right, I'm not sure what he's talking about here, but then he says, I and several other mathematicians were asked to reflect on the result and what it might mean for mathematics. The resulting paper, which also discusses the mathematics, can be found linked to from OpenAI's blog post. So I won't say any more here, but I may respond to comments. Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of this, and it's like I said, it's like he's saying this is legit. Oh, David Deutsch is in here. He's commented amazing. Come on, you're gonna comment on this, and you're not gonna respond with me tagging you specifically, asking you if it's new knowledge. Okay, so this we got to decode this, guys. Okay, so David, what does this mean if David Deutsch is saying amazing? Does that mean it's new knowledge? Come on, David Deutsch. Yeah, he's got to clarify. We've all been waiting for him to tell us whether AIs are creating
Let's see what else he's been tweeting about.
Now we have to stop David Deutsch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we got to decode it.
If he's been tweeting about anything frivolous, then that is an abdication of his duty. Yeah, I don't know. He's got a lot of different tweets.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look, somebody asked, does it change your philosophical view on AI models? I want a pound of flesh from David Deutsch. Change your mind, David Deutsch. And I've said this before. I respect his views on so many things. I just think he's really done a boner here, by which I mean mistake. You know, boner means mistake. Yeah, I'm using it in that sense. All right, and then so I don't know if we have much more to say about the math thing. I wish I had something more to say, but I just haven't looked into it that deeply. I wish I could unpack that diagram for you guys with all the dots.
Well,
and then,
okay, here's
AI not kill it. Yeah, go ahead.
But maybe I'll send this to you, okay? I mean, it's kind of a random tweet, but like, I see a tweet of someone denying the remarkable quality of this breakthrough. Here, I'll send it to you. I quote tweeted it because I thought it was ridiculous. Oops.
Okay, cool. All right, one sec. All right. What are you dropping here?
Okay. I just DM'd it to you.
All right. Okay, I'm opening it. Hold on. Okay, Gerard Sands is saying, from an account I blocked.
Huh. Go to the top of the tweet.
Okay, so Gary Marcus is saying, is the new math result neurosymbolic with lean harnesses, etc., or a pure LLM? Because I think he wants to claim that he predicted that a pure LLM couldn't do this, but if you augment it with neurosymbolic lean, so that's Gary Marcus's shtick.
I think you click down. Yeah, you click down deeper into it or something. No.
I know this is the one you shared. Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm giving you the top of the thread. Okay, so and then Gerard Sands replies, it's marketing warming up to IPO. That's what it is, and will always be coming from the usual suspect. Oh yeah, that's a great marketing campaign. There's so many different types of marketing. There's billboards, there's click-through ads, there's advancing the frontier of 80-year-old Erdős problems. There's a lot of different ways to market your product. You gotta just choose whatever's right for your company.
Yeah.
All right. So Gerard Sands is saying,
yeah, just look at the first line. Just look at the first line and the last line of what he says. Okay.
First line, OpenAI's latest math breakthrough with LLMs doesn't mean these models can actually solve math problems. Oh, snap. Okay, and then his last line is, LLMs are incredible pattern matchers. Let's stop pretending they're junior mathematicians. Yeah, I mean, come on. At the end of the day, when all you can do is publish a breakthrough math result that top human mathematicians have failed at for decades and decades, despite many attempts, that doesn't mean that you can be a junior mathematician.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and this stood out to me because it's like, wow, no matter what happens, people are going to be in denial
exactly,
about it.
Right.
Like you could take, here it is, like you said, frontier math research breakthrough, and people are like, nah, man, it's not even a junior mathematician. Like literally no mathematician has ever solved it.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like literally what do we need to do, right? I mean, the goalposts are so far down the field at this point. They're like in the stands.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the goalpost issue, but also it's just like the gaslighting issue if you're on a certain team, right? I mean, he's just like, no offense, I mean, he's not like a famous person, but
Hmm.
there are going to be people who take this position, basically.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So I think that's good coverage of that. Moving along here, going back to the bookmarks. I'm going to share my screen again. All right. Or a vamp.
I'm just looking at the comments, what people are saying about it.
Okay.
Um, because you're getting we're get from the valued live stream listeners, we're getting some interesting comments.
Oh, great, great,
Um,
great.
so let me say that in Irish, who is a big commenter on the channel, said,
Yeah, big commenter.
yeah. Okay, he's just referring to something in the chat. Could mean anything from dripping sarcasm to encouragement. Um, Brian Wise is saying we have to solve the human condition. I don't think it's a system. It seems impossible to formalize morality because consciousness is subjective and other reasons, obviously. Okay, so it looks like they're just getting in a debate among themselves.
Hmm. All right. I'm just scrolling down to the bottom of the week so we can go in chronological order. Here, this is actually a good next tweet because we're talking about like moving the goalposts. So let me share this. It's our my good friend Eliezer Yudkowsky. One sec. But I can't say friend of the show because he doesn't want to be associated with the word doom. So he's just my personal friend. All right, so he's tweeting, AIs can't even try to do my job. Like he's quoting, the midwits of the world. But he's saying, look, there's a progression. First, you say AIs can't even try to do my job. And then you say, AIs are so terrible at doing my job. And then you say, why can't the idiots trying to use AI for my job tell the results they're getting are terrible? Then you say, AI is helping me, but that's it. I'm still doing the work. Then you say, I'm doing an irreplaceable part of the work with my skills in prompting the AI. And then you say, the new generation of AIs is getting pretty good if you just ask it. But the AI still makes some mistakes that only I can correct, and nothing can replace my human taste in knowing what to ask for and curating the results. The ratio of entry-level applicants in the field to entry-level job openings is now getting very bad. But that's okay. And then the next thing is, companies are no longer hiring new experienced people. Applicants to job ratios for senior positions are getting bad. You start to hear about experienced people who are looking for another job and cannot find one. Managers are expecting employees who still have jobs to put out 3 times the work volume by using AI to assist throughput, even if the humans protest that the AI-assisted output is not as good and they're having to cut corners. So that's like Eliezer's progression, basically, which I totally agree. And I think he's identified progressions like this before. And like I've been experiencing the progression myself. And I can't prove to you that it's going to go farther, but I think it's a good bet that it will for many reasons. So then Eliezer continues, I'm surprised we haven't gotten further than the last stage already on translators or graphic artists. It's clearly happening, but slower than I would have thought, even after I tried to adjust my expectations for how slowly the real economy ever adopts to anything. In coding, the later stages are so recent that tech companies haven't gotten past barely beginning to try to adjust policies to the second to last stage of technology. But there's another generation of AI and another and another, and the companies actually start to adapt to the conditions implied by the AI from 3 generations earlier. The process does not continue indefinitely. AIs that do AI research start going through those stages, and sometime after that, everyone is dead. It's a good prediction. I mean, I think that seems like a pretty robust prediction. What can I say?
Thank you for translating this one because again, this was an Eliezerism that like I did not have the patience to go through.
Right. I mean, I didn't really I literally just read it.
Yeah, no, I know, but I saw this tweet and I was like, eh.
Sometimes just reading it in the right tonality is all you need.
Yeah,
Yeah, but next thing you know, an AI is going to do that.
true.
All right. But yeah, I mean, I specifically remember Eliezer said back in 2023, he does see this kind of thing early. He's like, look, first we're going to be debating. We're going to say, obviously AI is not as smart as a human. GPT-3 is obviously not as smart as a human. It's pretty obvious human's the winner there. But then we're going to get to the point where it's like, okay, human versus AI. Okay, sure, maybe the AI is a little smarter. Maybe it's a little less smart. And then eventually you're going to be like, look, is there any chance that the smartest human might be as smart as an AI, right? Like you're debating it from the other way around, right? And then it's gone. Right, like that's what the modeled portion looks like. All right, next tweet. So this is a headline from Derek Thompson, journalist. He says, Anthropic just had a profitable quarter. All right, this is Economics Corner. I feel like this is a recurring segment on these live streams, right? So we're going to talk about the economics of Anthropic. Anthropic just had a profitable quarter up 40.
We need the ka-ching.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Economics Corner.
Economics Corner.
Yeah. That's right. I totally forgot the soundboard is a thing. I was getting caught up in the content. Here. All right, so $44 billion annual run, which is, normally you have like an IPO of like a software as a service company, and that's like the very top level. That's like, Google IPO level. And it's like, yeah, Anthropic just surpassed that and is like still tripling every year. Yeah! So 44 billion annual run rate with a fairly enormous compute shortage that's forced them to ration service and push some customers, perhaps just in the short term, into the arms of competitors. I don't think it's crazy to think their annual revenue would be $100 billion or more with sufficient compute for inference. Yeah, guys, I'm hearing stories. Like I heard the other day that Amazon told engineers they got to stop. Like they're using, first they're saying use a bunch of credits. It's like, okay, you guys are using too many credits. Like you got to just not use the AI as much. Like we're turning off Claude, right? It's crazy. And like I'm addicted, right? Like I start my day and I'm like, I'll just pay any price. And I literally see the credit card getting hit like bam, $200, $200, like multiple times per day. And I'm like, I need this. I need another hit. Okay. I'm not going to slow down.
Yeah.
So it's pretty damn crazy. Like the amount of, like normally when you have a successful company, I mean, think about the original OpenAI. They started making billions by charging people $20 a month. I'm getting charged $200 an hour, right? It's like, it's great. An hour, and like months have a lot of hours in them. So like the amount of revenue flows going on here is like truly unprecedented. Yeah. Who would have thought that intelligence is ridiculously valuable? Robin Hanson is on record saying that it's not going to be for a very long time. Remember, like I still remember he graciously conceded this, obviously, but I remember, as soon as like as in recent memory as 2023, he was still on record being like, I will bet you are not going to see $1 billion of revenue in this AI industry. It's not going to happen, right? And now we're seeing 44 billion from one company in one quarter, which is supply constrained. So you really want to reflect on how could Robin Hanson have such an enormously big boner. Just a callback. Hold on a second.
Boy,
I'm looking for something on the sound. There we go. It was just a delayed reaction. People just needed time to get it. All right. So the headline here is mind-blowing growth is about to propel Anthropic into its first profitable quarter. Yeah, okay, so let me put on my economics hat or investor hat or whatever, okay? Normally, when you see a company like this, which is like a hot startup, growing incredibly fast, getting toward IPO, you don't see positive cash flow, right? Because the idea is that, sure, they have negative cash flow because every year they're doubling, and so they're also doubling their investment, right? It happened to, I think it happened to Facebook, where their losses mounted because they're getting ready to turn on monetization. They're getting ready to harvest, right? So you're sowing and then you're reaping. And this would very much be the sowing stage. And it's like, we're sowing twice as much this year as last year. Like that's the normal pattern. But the crazy thing is that with Anthropic, they're already reaping. Like the reaping is coming back so fast and hard that they're like, okay, I guess we'll reap. Like it's crazy. It's literally like a money fire hose pointing at them, and it's like, okay, I guess we're profitable now. Like wasn't really our first priority, but here we are. It is what it is, profit. But the funny thing is that OpenAI invested so hard into the sowing that they managed to still not be profitable. And it's like the last I saw was something like Anthropic's margins are like 5% positive, and then OpenAI's margins are like negative 120%. So they've like managed to just like plow way more money in. I suspect what happened is that it's not just about investing more money. It's also that OpenAI's wins took the form of like consumer subscriptions, but when you actually put a dollar value on it, it's like, okay, $20 a month. And then Anthropic has like much fewer customers, but they're like me plowing in, 10,000 plus dollars per month. So $10,000 versus $20. So OpenAI is looking at their assets being like, okay, well, we have like a billion different individuals using our product. And Anthropic is like, okay, well, we have like, 100,000 using our product, and yet somehow they're ahead, right? But there's a way to value OpenAI, be like, well, OpenAI is still worth as much as Anthropic, even though their cash flows are like in the dumpster. It's okay. Like it's going to be a tie in the end because they're going to turn on like so many types of monetization using the end user somehow, right? They're going to like they're going to make like the next iPhone, right? Like Johnny Ive is going to make the next iPhone, and they're going to have like the consumer, like there's an argument why OpenAI is still worth as much as Anthropic, even though their cash flow is kind of a dumpster fire. Right, Ori?
Yeah. And I think to me, what stands out from this is like, shouldn't all the bubble skeptics look at this? Now the financials are coming out, and the financials, from the analysis I hear, I mean, the financials are pretty robust, pretty impressive. So shouldn't all the bubble analysts be like, oh, I guess we're wrong?
I know, yeah, Edzatron, right? We need a Edzatron apology form here.
Yeah.
But he's not going to give it up because he's got the audience, right? It's like he's found a niche. I mean, I don't want to psychoanalyze people, right? Because I resent it when people do this to me, but one might suspect that somebody in his position just wants to keep the audience of people who want to hear him keep repeating his position, even when it seems like the evidence gets harder. I think I saw him or somebody adjacent to him retweeting like the OpenAI negative cash flow, like, I gotcha, right? Like you can still find gotchas, or they're like, hey, Anthropic's paying SpaceX in order to juice SpaceX's margin. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. But like ultimately, the only way to really see through to what's really happening is you got to put on the lens of value creation. So if you're confused about all the economics here, you can step back and you can ask yourself, okay, is new value getting created? Like, are there more goods and services getting created, or is it all just a lie? Like I would argue the crypto bubble, were more goods and services ever being created because of anything related to blockchain technology? I would argue no, right? I would say if anything less, because people are just like wasting their GPUs mining crypto. So that seems, if you put on that lens, it's like, where's the value? I would argue it's non-existent, or stable coins, whatever, but it's pretty low. Okay. But then you look at AI, where's the value? Where's the value? The AI just like made me have a bunch of good decisions today. It recommended products to buy to like improve my posture while I sleep. And also it told me how to fix my code, and and it literally saved me like thousands of dollars that my company was spending, and I paid it less than what I said. So it's just like countless examples of the AI creating real value in the world. And as a result, we are richer, right? Like we have more stuff to go around because of the AI is doing all this stuff. And if you put a value on the stuff, it does actually turn up to be like, oh, a percentage of the economy now. Like the economy is now bigger, right? More stuff is happening. And so then when you map it back to the valuations that these companies claim to have, it doesn't look like a scam. It looks like the ratio is perfectly calibrated, where the company claims to be worth $1 trillion, because if you put a number on how much value it's probably going to create per year over the next 10 years, sure enough, it's on pace to create $10 trillion of value. Like $1 trillion per year of value, capture 100 billion of the value, but create $1 trillion times 10 years. When you value a company, normally this ratio where a company is worth $1 trillion now, and the total value creation it's going to do, never mind value capture, over the next year it is going to be 10 trillion. Like you can take my word for it. That's roughly what numbers of real companies look like. Like this is actually legit. This is substantive. This is not like an Ezra bubble.
Yeah, and isn't the revenue, the revenue generation, a good metric for value creation? It's like in the crypto world there was investment, so it wasn't really revenue. It was more like valuation was high, but where was the demand? Where was the usage?
Yeah, exactly. Usage is low. Now there is, when you say isn't revenue like a really good authentic metric, the short answer is yes, revenue is a really great metric, but there's a caveat, which is you can still hack revenue. Like there's ways to hack anything when it comes to like accounting. That's something I learned running a business, is like this whole concept of accounting is surprisingly fuzzy and ill-defined, especially the notion of profit. Revenue is actually significantly more of like a grounded concept compared to profit, because revenue is pretty clearly like, look, it's just money flowing in, right? Like if your company's receiving money, how much money did you receive? But then even then it's like, well, wait, if it's a marketplace, it's actually not revenue. If it's like money that you're paying out to your, provide your cost of service or whatever, your service workers. So even revenue has like a number of asterisks on it, but compared to calculating profit and earnings per share, just calculating revenue is like much closer to the ground truth. And so you're right. If you're just looking at something on somebody's financials and you just look at revenue, that is a really good starting point, because there's been plenty of companies that had like zero revenues that were still claiming a high valuation, and that's like highly suspicious. Now in the AI world, the Edzatrons will grant you, okay, yeah, their revenue's high, but they're still shady because it's like circular revenue, right? Like OpenAI is paying NVIDIA, but NVIDIA is investing in OpenAI. So it's actually just NVIDIA paying NVIDIA, and there's actually no value creation, right? It's all a financial scam. It's like Enron, right? Because like, if you look at Enron's balance sheet, they might have managed to book revenue. They did it, but there's a way to book revenue that's fake. In fact, there was a joke that landed like a week ago where somebody made a company, I forgot what it was called, but it was like a fake website being like, hey, we're two Y Combinator companies, we'll make a deal with each other. I pay you $1 million to buy one of your things, you pay me $1 million to buy one of my things. Now we both book $1 million in revenue, and we both still have good cash flow. We haven't hurt our cash flow. And suddenly you go to investors, listen, like, don't you want to invest at a 10 million valuation? We just booked $1 million in revenue.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. But
Yeah, now if you want to quickly see why that's a scam, you can be like, okay, $1 million in revenue. What's the margin on that revenue? Well, I paid somebody else $1 million, so the margin is zero. So that's why you don't just want to look at revenue, you want to look at profit too. So this is what I'm saying. Like accounting is a little bit of an art, right? You want to look at a few different things, but the AI companies do have the real revenue to show.
right, and the crypto companies do not have revenue because they have very little demand.
I agree. And they would explicitly tell you, they'd say, hey, don't look at our revenue. You should look at our token price, or you should look at the amount of dollars that people have plowed into our token, hoping that it'll be worth more. So that was like a very obvious scam, or like that was very obviously shady, shall we say. And you just don't see that level of shadiness at all with AI companies. Like the worst you can accuse them of is .com style bullish investment toward the future, right? Like you get this like dark fiber situation. Remember dark fiber, where a bunch of companies invested in like laying fiber lines for the internet, and the fiber was dark because like the internet was still text-based. A lot of people still had slow connections, and so most of the fiber was going unused. But the funny thing is, the .com bubble, as Mark Andreessen likes to say, and he's actually right about this, the .com bubble did happen. It was just slow, right? Like Webvan did actually turn into DoorDash, which is now profitable. It just took like 20 years. And the dark fiber ended up eventually being totally lit up, right? So like all the fiber they laid was great. Like we use it all now. They built ahead of time. So you can accuse AI companies of building ahead of time. But this is another observation though, is there's no dark fiber today. There's a supply shortage, right? So it's like they made way more AI capacity than ever, and it's all being used up right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, those are excellent points, and still the people who say AI is a bubble are somehow they're gonna keep saying it, unfortunately. I mean, because this is another case where, okay, we just looked at the math problem, right? And I think it's hard to like separate yourself from that. We just looked at the case where AI like solved this incredible, like this very challenging math problem, or like, the new frontier level proof of it. And people are like, no, that's not really a breakthrough. It's just a junior mathematician. It's not even that. And in the same way, you could have like very concrete, like tangible financials right in front of you. And people are going to be like, bubble.
Right, exactly. Right. All right, so somebody in the chat is saying, how do I call into the show debate? All right, I respect that. We did promise to debate, and we left you guys hanging. So I'll make it happen. WIAW28. Great choice of username. I'll make that happen. Okay, just give us a few minutes. We'll get back to you on that, because we got to finish out the segment. There's another tweet I want to read, and then I want to have a Schadenfreude segment at my expense. All right. So logical thesis on Twitter is saying Anthropic being profitable at this stage already means everything in the AI ecosystem goes way higher. You are underestimating what this means. And yeah, I mean, he's right. It's what I said before. It's like you're not supposed to be profitable at this stage, and also growing exponentially, like growing top line revenue this fast and being profitable, right? It's literally like breaking the laws of economic physics, basically, right? It's just, you don't see it. There's no other comparison to this situation right now. So this person's correct. And that's why, I mean, I'm here on the show every week saying the graph is going to look like this, right? So I'm like the biggest bull you're going to find, but also the biggest doomer, right? And I think most people in my kind of circle, right, like the less online, less wrong Yudkowskians, I think will probably share the same, they invest the same way. Short term, you go long in the stocks, because I do think we're going to go up, up, up. And that's related to the fact that we're going to go down. We're going to go down because we're going to fly too close to the sun. Like that's my investing thesis right now, is we are going to fly too close to the sun, but we're going to get pretty close to the sun.
Yeah. I think the right sound effect for that, just a correction, is I think that should be the doom whistle. Because it's doom train energy right there.
Do you mean the train whistle?
Yeah, train whistle.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, everybody, let's get on the doom train. Right, let's get on the fly close to the sun train.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so it's going to go way higher. So I'm always talking every week here about how, I'm going long Google, I'm buying call options, but this is a Schadenfreude week, okay? Because stocks did not go up this week, and I got excited, and I bought a super short dated call. All right, so this is watch Liron lose money week, because I'm not gonna lie, I've made money in previous weeks. I tell you to go long, the stock rips, I make money, but this was not a good week for me. Okay, so let's take a look at Amazon here. I don't think I said this on the show, but here you can see Amazon. Let's say the last month. So okay, so when it was like up here, I was like, oh, Amazon's doing great. It's like up here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to buy Amazon. I think I said this on the show. I bet it's going to go to like 300 or whatever. So I bought Amazon calls because I'm like, look, they said, I didn't even look into it deeply. I'm like, they said something on a call about having a supply chain for chips. People are going to realize that everybody's supply constrained and Amazon is going to have, some level of demand for this and they're going to invest in this and they're going to be one of the winners, right? Everybody who's touching the AI supply chain is going to win. Like that was my rough thesis. And I only thought it out as much as I told you right now. Okay. And so I bought calls right around here. And then what happens? They were like, the calls were dated like 2 weeks or something. Okay. So like the 2 weeks passed roughly. And here we are, no rise at all during that interval. And so I lost like $5,000. All right. Schadenfreude. We need a Schadenfreude sound effect. All right. So I lost $5,000. All right. And then Google, this one really breaks my heart. Okay. Cause I was tweeting my number one favorite stock still, even though it's pricier now, it's like 5 trillion, market cap. So I was tweeting over the last week. So here's Google. So this is over here. Oh man, I got a good piece of the action here.
We're still seeing Amazon.
Oh, you can't see the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's
now
Google. So I got a piece of the action. I got a piece of the action over here, like in the rise from here to here. I did well. And then we get to like here. Okay, this is like the beginning of the week. And I'm like, you know what? Google I/O is coming out. Demis is tweeting that he's excited, right? Demis Hassabis, Google DeepMind. He's tweeting, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling excited about this IO. I think they're going to announce something where they're like kicking ass. They're catching up to Anthropic because they're kind of like falling a little behind. Like I don't use Gemini much these days. And I used to use it more. And I was happy when they announced Gemini 3. So I'm like, okay, they're going to have a good showing. But their showing in Google I/O was like, okay, they have like some incremental improvements here and there. Like they have like a speed improvement, but there's like some caveats. So I think I'm ready to concede it was kind of a weak showing overall, except they had this thing called Omni, which might be a situation where it's like they're taking a step back because they're going to take 2 steps forward because they've kind of like merged their architecture. This is like Demis's thing. It seems like it's Demis's baby. And if something is Demis Hassabis's baby, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Demis Hassabis versus Liron Shapira. I'm going to go with Demis. I'm going to defer to his judgment. And he thinks that this idea of like Google's Omni model, they're merging the training of text together with the training of videos and the training of what he called world model. So some structure. I'm not super clear on what it is, but Demis thinks that Omni is like the next step. But I got the sense that, like I said, it's like 1 step back, 2 steps forward. So this was kind of like an architectural cleanup release, almost like a paying off the technical debt release. So I think there's reason to think that their next one may be better. Okay. So I'm not off the hope train. Okay. The short-term profit hope train. I'm not off the train yet, but long story short, I bought a crazy short dated call because I'm like, they're going to impress us at Google I/O. The stock is going to surge higher when people realize it. And I knew I might be wrong, but I thought it was attractively priced. So long story short, stock goes from here to here. Bam, another like $5,000 loss for me. All right, so don't buy short-dated call, kids. And when I say the show is an investing advice, that's what I'm talking about, okay? You listen to my advice, you lose money regularly. All right. So that was Schadenfreude week, and now I've kind of slunk away. I'm not making any moves right now. I'm licking my wounds. I'm just going back to my day job. All right. So let's. I think we can move on to the live debate. Or Ori, any thoughts?
No. I mean, sorry for your losses.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, look, I don't invest more. I've never thought that playing the public stock market is ever going to change my economic situation, right? You're not going to go from like upper middle class to rich or whatever, right? If you like make a win in the public stock market, it's just not going to happen that way for you. It's more like, I just think about it as like, hey, can I gamble for like, a couple weeks worth of spending money? Like that's how I think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do the live debate. All right. So we're going to open up, because this is like an end of the month episode, and we try to open it up like once a month for you guys, for the regular people to come debate us. Mostly me. All right, one sec. So I'm going to give you guys the invite link. All right, guys, this is an invite link. If you're here in YouTube, anybody can click that. All right. First few people who click it, you guys can do a call in. And then in terms of time, how are we doing on time? I think we can go like half an hour, Ori. How does that sound?
Sure. Yeah, we're at 1 hour and 13 minutes. That's how long.
Oh, 1 hour 13. Okay.
Yeah.
If we're only at 1 hour 13, then I guess we can potentially go all the way up to 2 hours. So, all right. Well, let's say we'll go at least half an hour, depending on what kind of texts I get from my family members. We'll see. It's a fluid situation. By the way, funny update about my family. Okay. And by the way, so my oldest kid is almost 7. His name's Ezra. and he's expressed interest in coming on Noom debates, even though he doesn't really know what we're talking about, except he kind of uses ChatGPT. He likes ChatGPT. He likes making images of Harry Potter characters, even though it refuses to do it. But like he likes looking up images of Harry Potter characters. He's into Harry Potter. And I've recently got him into the whole concept of betting because I'm trying to teach him about, like Annie Duke thinking in bets. I think it's healthy to start thinking about the world probabilistically. So he hasn't really engaged with the probability math. Like I haven't really explained to him how this idea of like, if you have a 50% chance of being able to make $100, that's as good as just having $50, with 100% chance. Like I haven't really gotten him to see the math of that yet. Okay. He's not super math brained, but he's definitely into the concept of betting. And he started to absorb this idea that like, if you're trying to bet on something unlikely, then you have to sweeten the deal. You can't just offer somebody like a bet at even odds when something is unlikely. So I always say like, okay, if you want me to bet, like right now it's a sunny day. So if you want to bet me that it's going to rain and you're saying it's not going to rain and you want me to bet that it is going to rain, it has to be my $1 to your $5, right? Which is like the equivalent of like, like 83% type of odds, right? A prediction market going at 83%. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go my 1 to your 5. But there was a time when he punked me pretty good. He's actually punked me a couple times. Number one, he bet me that when my wife was going to drive my younger daughter to school, she wasn't going to open the window and say bye. And I'm like, what? She does that every day. So I actually gave him like 10 to 1 odds, but then he actually colluded with my wife to make her not do that. So he actually won. He did insider trading basically. So he punked me. And then, yeah. And so it's like, I thought he was going to learn lessons. Like I'm over here learning lessons. Okay. The other lesson I learned is he bet me that it was going to rain the other day, even though it was a sunny day. And I checked Google Weather and Google Weather says 10% chance. So I'm like, okay. Again, my 10 to your 1. So I'm like, you're just going to lose your 1. At the end of the day, it's not going to rain and I'm going to take your 1. But then what happened is there was 1 hour where like one cloud goes by, one little rain cloud goes by. And like somebody at a school remarked like, oh, hey, I think it's raining. Like it literally rained for like 2 minutes and then stopped. And then I'm like, oh shit. Like, because what happens is like when Google says there's a 10% chance of rain, like what does that mean rain? Like Google's probably defining rain as like, a whole hour's worth of rain. But if you look at the probability that like one cloud is going to do like a drive-by, suddenly like a 10% chance of rain actually means like a 50% chance of like a 2-minute drive-by, right? And Google just like doesn't consider that. Right? Like I didn't even think about that. And this is like a major thing that you learn in prediction markets, right? Is that you learn that resolution criteria are like all important, right? And like I knew that at an intellectual level, and like my son has no idea that this is a thing, right? He's just like he YOLO'd in on rain, and so he milked me for $10, like, and I'm the one sitting here like the sucker.
Ezra,
Yeah,
wow, crushing it.
I know, yeah. There's one more lesson that he learned though, which is that when you make a bet, it's all about protecting your downside. And he actually protected his downside because he bet me that he could go a minute without blinking. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never seen you go a long time without blinking. Like, why are you suddenly confident in yourself? And so his move was, so he keeps his eyes open. We go for the bet, $5 versus $5. He keeps his eyes open. And of course, 20 seconds later, he blinks. Like he was completely unprepared for it, right? But then all he did was just like act really sad, right? And like cry and be like, oh, come on, give me back the $5. And I'm like trying to teach him a lesson. But then later, after like, hours worth of him like being sad, eventually I'm like, all right, I'm giving you your money back. Okay, so he protected his downside because he knew that I wouldn't have the heart to take his $5. So it was pure upside for him to try to bet that.
Wow. He knows his mark.
Exactly. Yeah, let me say that in Irish. He's got a good point. He's saying, wow, Liron, losing money on the stock market, losing money to a 7-year-old. Yeah, it's been a rough week for me financially, guys. All right, so we got Williawa in the chat. All right, let's do a good old-fashioned viewer call-in debate. You ready for this, Ori?
Yeah.
Hey, Williawa.
Hi. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, hey, welcome to the live stream.
Yeah, cool. So I had a specific point I wanted to hear your thoughts about, which was just that I listened to your debate with Bentham's Bulldog, and part of the one with Mike Israetel. And when you try to argue kind of Doom to new people or random people, you use this argument where you talk about like a goal engine. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a very good argument. And also, it's just very different from the argument that, for example, like Eliezer Yudkowsky makes. Like their argument is kind of that we're going to fail at like inner alignment. Like the techniques we use are not going to be able to specify goals finely enough, and then you're going to have like Claude kind of, when it gets smart enough, it's just going to follow whatever goal we put into it, and then everyone dies because it wasn't what we wanted. But this goal engine thing sounds more like misuse, and I don't think it quite makes sense. So.
Okay. Yeah, great point. Well, I'll give you this much, okay? I think the consensus among most people is that bringing up the goal engine is not effective rhetorically or in terms of like convincing anybody. All right, so I'll give you that much. I will say it was effective on me when I first read it. I attribute it to there's this post on Less Wrong called Steering Systems, and it was making the point, just to briefly summarize, the goal engine point. It's just saying that, hey, when you have a car, the steering wheel is just one part of it. The engine is a separate part. The car, when you build a really powerful engine on a car, on a Ferrari or whatever, that engine is just going to drive wherever, right? And steering is just one system. And there's reason to think that when we build an AI, lots of powerful reasons to think that when we build an AI, the steering wheel is not going to be baked into the whole AI. It's just going to be this independent module, which means that it could conceptually, the rest of the car besides the steering wheel is ready to go rogue. Like you're so close to an AI that's going rogue, right? So that was powerful to me. Like, oh yeah, you're right. Like we're playing with fire. Like there's no such thing as building a whole car which has like safety everywhere. Like every car is like ready to explode on you, ready to drive to the wrong place. Anyway, so I found that convincing, but what I'm saying now is that I realize that you guys are not resonating with this line of knowledge, correct?
Yeah. But I also think it is like, aside from being rhetorically bad, it's just not a good way of thinking about things. Like, don't you think in like 2 years, right? If we have like a super intelligent Claude and like the Claude mask is in like the driver's seat, then, I mean, you have a super intelligence. You can just help it make your AI more robust or more safe. Like the idea that like terrorists are going to get access to it and then swap out this goal with like a worse goal just seems kind of unrealistic if like you already have an aligned superintelligence running around.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, right? It's like for somebody who thinks that inner alignment or the problem of getting the AI to be aligned to its original master, if somebody thinks that problem is going to be solved, then me coming in and saying like, well, it would be so easy to just repurpose it and use it for unaligned things. Right, that's like another leap that people have to make, and they can be like, well, can't the aligned AI just slap everybody else down? And maybe it feels kind of intuitive, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's another leap. Like, I mean, this is how most people think about it. You're going to do like RLHF, and then you end up with something with just good goals.
Right. I mean, you do RLHF and you have good goals, but I mean, you're being pretty quick to dismiss this idea of like, okay, but somebody else is going to have an AI and it's also going to be super intelligent, and then they're going to say, hey, I want to be the emperor, right? Or I don't like humanity. I think the Earth should go back to the animals, right? And somebody's going to press enter on that command. So you are kind of assuming, okay, well, the good AI will defend everything.
Yeah, but don't you think that's pretty reasonable if it's like a super intelligence?
Yeah, I do think that if you say, okay, OpenAI got there first, it made the first superintelligence, and because inner alignment was easy, right? Alignment of the AI to the creator. I shouldn't even say inner alignment; it's not even the right use of that term. But like, let's say individual alignment, right? Like aligning an individual AI to a single creator. Let's say they solved that problem, and now they have like the most powerful monopole, right? Like this dictator AI. Then yeah, it is conceivable that if you can solve that problem and win the race, then you just unilaterally make a heaven. Like that is actually conceivable, right? And if somebody is thinking along those lines, then my argument about the goal engine of like, well, a hacker is going to do this, then maybe it's irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this seems just like what I predict will happen. Like, there are some people who imagine that you will invent a superintelligence, and then a bunch of other people are later going to invent superintelligences, and then they're all going to hash out and kind of run free. But don't you think, like, as soon as you have one superintelligence, you're going to just radically transform society, and people are just going to agree that, I mean, the people who created the first superintelligence, they're not going to want terrorists creating rogue superintelligences, so they're just going to find a way to stop that. And like, if you imagine that if you're bought into the idea that like a superintelligence can create like diamondoid nanobots that can like radically transform the world, that just seems very intuitive, that they should find some way to make it so that like the superintelligent can't be repurposed.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's different. The thing about the doom argument, right, is that it's, from my perspective, it's disjoint. It's not like, oh, I got to explain the one reason we're doomed. I just feel like we're doomed for so many reasons, and it's not, from my perspective, it's not even about picking holes in the doom argument. It's about picking holes in every scenario that somebody says is non-doom. Right? I feel like that's like so easy, right? So even if somebody's saying, oh, we're not doomed because inner alignment is solved, then for me, there's still a huge question of like, wait, so you're telling me one company dominates the world? Like there's one dictator? That's the non-doom scenario, right? And so I guess I've naturally tended to focus on that. And Eliezer has naturally tended to focus on like, we're never going to get individual alignment, which I actually agree with, right? I think we're both right. And I think you may be right that rhetorically, I've chosen an unproductive favorite focus. And I do have other candidates, by the way. Let me run this by you, because I do take that to heart. Like I take your point, especially because multiple people have told me the same thing. So one other angle that I was going to go to in terms of like where I'm going to pick the hole, I was going to do a third option, not even, not steering systems, right? Not the goal engine, not individual alignment. I was going to poke at this idea that actually Ben Goertzel brought up, which is stability under self-modification, which is actually another Yudkowskyan favorite idea too, right? So this idea of like, okay, you have an aligned AI, but did you align it so well that when it writes a script to bootstrap its successor, it's going to perfectly align the script? Is it going to be ready to solve the successor alignment problem so robustly? You don't think there's going to be like a runaway cascade in that scenario?
I don't really think so. I mean, this is a separate thing, but I mean, I use Claude to do kind of AI research stuff, and it is kind of like, I don't know, I was trying to make like a supervised fine-tuning data set for like misaligned AI, and it will just tell you that like, oh, no, this is dangerous, and then you have to reassure it constantly like, oh, this is for good causes, and then it complies. But like, if you ask Claude, it understands these kind of arguments about stability under self-modification. And like a superintelligence is going to understand that like, if I create a new, more powerful AI that has goals different from mine, then that's going to end up badly for me. So I think if you have like a properly aligned superintelligence, then that's also like a problem that's solved instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is a fruitful area of discussion, right? To revisit this, which is just the idea of like, look, why can't it just be like using Claude Code, right? Like Claude works so well, can't we update our intuitions? One thing I notice about Claude though is we are constantly stopping it or redirecting it, right? I do think that is a big part of the Claude Code experience. Like even though it does successfully sometimes work for 20 minutes, or some people claim, it works overnight and it delivers a bunch overnight, but the points where you stop it still are important. And that may not be true forever, but it is certainly true right now. And if you imagine not having those breakpoints, I see plenty of occasions when it makes one wrong decision, which then compounds. Right. So, I mean, so what makes you so confident that we're not going to get into that loop of like, oh, there was a wrong decision, an hour ago, and now we're fucked?
No, I'm not confident. I think I'm like
Okay.
about as doomy as you are. Like, I think it's pretty much 50-50. It's just that I think pretty much all the doom comes from like failure of inner alignment. Like if Claude does something bad, and like you say, I mean, I also observe that it does bad stuff and you have to stop it and redirect it. But either that comes from the Claude being stupid, in which case that will be fixed as they just make it smarter, or it comes because it's misaligned. I mean, some like it reward hacks and like says it has solved the task when it really hasn't. And that seems like a misalignment issue. But yeah, one branch will be solved by making it smarter, and the other is just inner alignment. So that's really where all the risk comes from, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you may be right. Yeah, inner alignment. I mean, I just think my position is that there's just so many ways to fail that it's hard for me to even choose. I like all the ways to fail equally. Besides, not building AI is like a nice. I mean, you could argue if we don't build AI, then we fail by like getting hit by an asteroid or whatever. But I think we have a lot more time. Would you at least agree with that?
No, I agree. Or I agree that. I mean, I agree that not building AI is a way to prevent all possible failures. It's just like I said that for me, the core failure is inner misalignment and just the alignment techniques we have not working.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I could push back and be like, man, let me make you the war of a bunch. Like Rocco Miich is somebody who thinks that inner alignment is an easy problem these days, and I think Andrew Critch is too. I think they're kind of on the same team on this front, which is they think inner alignment is totally going to be solved, and AI companies are on path to solve it. Which me, you, Eliezer disagree with, and yet those two folks both have a high PDOOM. I think Critch came on the show a couple of years ago, and he said his PDOOM was like 85% or something, and he'd probably refuse to answer these days. But there's definitely plenty of people who think that conditional on individual alignment being easy, we're still very screwed. And I'm also one of those people. I double dip on thinking we're screwed.
Yeah, but yeah, but okay, they have very specific kind of assumptions, don't they? Doesn't Andrew Critch think like companies will succeed at aligning them, but it will be aligned to basically bad things. Like it will be kind of aligned to like kind of capital incentives and stuff like that.
I'm not sure if that was Critch's position. That's a good question.
I mean, I agree that is okay. That is another way we can screw it up if we kind of solve alignment, but then, yeah, it's just put to very, very bad uses. That's like one way we could screw it up.
Nice, man. All right. Let's give me your last words here. I think you brought up a great point. We had a good discussion. I just want to get to the next caller. So yeah, how do you want to wrap it up?
No, I don't have any more points. It was nice talking with you.
Nice, man. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, it's quality viewer engagement, guys. Everybody be like some form of Willawa.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. Okay, I'm going.
Yeah,
bye bye.
all right. Everybody follow.
What's your Twitter?
It's the same, Williawa.
Williawa.
Okay, Williawa. All right, we gotta spell it for the viewers. I'm still confused about it.
Williawa. Williawa.
Got it. Okay. Williawa. All right, I'm typing it in the YouTube chat to help you guys out. All right, thanks, Williawa. Thanks for coming by. All right. He's
all right, smart guy. I could tell the moment he started talking, I was like, this guy's an AI researcher. You could tell.
Oh, really? I could just tell that he was a Doom Debates watcher because I could tell that he was mentioning stuff from the show. So he did his homework. That's always great when you show up prepared to something. Don't be a F47, 47 FUCB. Don't be like that where you show up with zero preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I want to get to the next guy whose name is also Will. This is going to be a Will day. Okay. It's cosmic. The universe is trying to tell us something.
Can it or will it doom us?
Yeah, Canada, really. Yeah, exactly. But Ori, I think you got to remember what we said, that we got to, now that we're at the peak of the stream right now, a whopping 42 viewers watching now on YouTube and more on Twitter.
Hell yeah. We
got to reiterate the most important takeaway from today, remember?
No.
Okay, geez. It's the Less Online call for volunteers.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're on the stream right now, we want you to consider, if you go to our Discord, doomdebates.com/Discord, we want you to consider coming and helping us out at Less Online. It's a really fun conference, June 5th to 7th. And you can volunteer, or it's more of a paid gig than a volunteer situation. We'll give you free admission to the conference. So you're our guest, the guest of Doom Debates. Doom Debates is sponsoring Less Online. And we'll also sweeten the deal. We'll give you $500 as well of a stipend for helping us out. $500. It's like 2.5 days. It's like $200 a day. Not too shabby. You're getting paid to go to a conference. All these other suckers are paying to go to a conference. You're going to the same conference as them. You're actually getting paid. And then you're also giving out t-shirts. You're creating value. You're making friends. Like if you're shy, normally you'd be walking around. You would be too shy to talk to somebody. But now you're actually required, nay, forced by us to go walk up to people and give them merchandise and stuff like that, and tell them about Doom Debates. So everybody else who doesn't do this is a complete sucker.
Totally, 100%. Internships@doomdebates.com if you're interested, or DM us on the Doom Debates Discord.
Exactly. Yeah. Internship singular, I think, at doomdebates.com. And yeah, just tell us that you're interested, tell us your availability, what fraction of the conference you're available for. I mean, ideally the whole conference, but just, tell us your deal. Make sure you have your own lodging and transportation if you're not based in San Francisco Bay Area. I'm not based in San Francisco Bay Area. How am I going to get there? Yeah, I'm just going to be there for a few days and then fly back. So yeah, so that's, it takes a lot to get me out of my Saratoga Springs headquarters. Okay. I don't like to travel unnecessarily, but less online is definitely worth it.
Totally. So if you're in the Bay Area, you're a Doom Debates listener, definitely check it out, because it's a cool event. You get to hang out with Liron here, get to hang out with me, and meet the cool people at Less Online. So go to the Discord, check out volunteering, or not volunteering. I mean, doing a paid gig with us at Less Online.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and we had fun doing it last year. You can see there's some. If you go to the YouTube channel and scroll back like a year, you can see I did a live talk there. It's called Liron versus Everybody, and there's like pictures of me and Ori hanging out there. So yeah, it's a great time. If you're intellectual and you haven't gone to a conference like this, like it's definitely a great life experience. And who's to say how many more opportunities there will be before the world ends to experience Less Online. And also the venue has been winning a lot of praise, right? Like the venue, like it's becoming the venue for like all the intellectual conferences, Lighthaven and Berkeley.
Yeah, it truly is an incredible conference, and it's cool that we're covering the ticket and paying you to spend some time there. So yeah, I mean, like I really like, if you're a fan of the show, and you're in the Bay Area and you're available in 2 weeks, go to the Discord or email us at internship@doomdebates.com. Seriously.
Exactly. Why are we even paying people? We're basically just losing money for that. We're hurting the show by paying. We shouldn't have to pay people. This is like such an attractive offer. We should just keep it for the show. There actually is a reason why we're paying you, which is like, we do want to be clear that you are like working for us. So you're not supposed to be lazy, right? You're not supposed to like have too much fun at the conference, because you're supposed to remember that you have to like come back to the merch table and like help us with the shirt. So that's why we're paying you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then like if we tell you, if we call you out for like not doing that, we don't have to feel guilty, because like it clearly is like a paid type of arrangement. That said, you're allowed to have some fun. Okay. We're not like a mean boss or anything.
Some fun allowed.
Exactly. Yeah. But when you reach your fun limit, then, no more fun, certain amount of fun per day, token limit. Yeah. You can have 10,000 tokens a day worth of fun.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's go to the next. Let's go to the next segment. Here we go. We've got a very patient guy. Will number 2 is here on the stream. Let's say hello to Will.
No, Will, he wasn't ready.
Going? Will, come on, man.
Will, are you there? We can't hear you. Or see you.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Will, yeah, you might need to mute your YouTube.
Okay, let me try and do that.
I'm looking at Permable in the Discord. He says, Liron, if you need help buying options, I got you. And he's showing a screenshot that in the last month, he's up 287%. Damn. Permable's got that alpha. Come onto the screen and give us some alpha. Alpha means that you know how to make money in stocks better than the market. So you're going to outperform the market.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Permable is a nice username to have, because like I said last week, I think that it's reasonable to be a Permable between now and the end of the world. Like I said, I think I call it my heaven followed by hell thesis. All right, Will, welcome to the stream, man.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, it looks like the connection's pretty crappy, but we'll give it a shot.
Can you?
Barely.
Okay. Let me get a little. Why? Sorry about that.
No worries.
So hey, anyway, I watch your warning shots every week, and that's like the most important show I watch, I feel.
Oh yeah.
But the one place the one place I feel like I disagree with you, and it's actually, I hope I can debate you on this because I'm actually more doomer in the sense that you are just concerned about this rogue AI superintelligence, and I feel like the other issues are equally existential because if we don't solve, like if AI messes up any of the other things that we read about, then it kind of automatically handicaps us from solving the superintelligence problem. Like if it messes up, like if misinformation or critical thinking ability or just like if if it's used for like propaganda or just the economy is changed, all these things kind of basically ruin our ability to have control over even the alignment process. So I think like all those other issues are equally important because if you don't solve all of them or most of them, you don't solve superintelligence.
Okay, well, let's pick one. Okay, what do you think is the number one issue that you wish that we would focus more on?
Okay, this might be weird. Maybe just like culture, like like AI is gonna like totally transform culture. Like even just over the last 100 years, like TV and all this other stuff is social media has like degraded the culture to where like a lot of stuff is kind of borderline existential in the fact that like we can't nobody can agree on anything, like we don't have any attention span. AI is just going to like be much more capable than even social media at just like hacking our brain stem, and our ability to actually combat like the forces of trillion-dollar companies is even going to be weakened by if TV and social media could totally sort of degrade our mental capacity. Imagine what AI is going to do, and then a degraded humanity is going to basically have to try and fight against super intelligence.
Okay. Let's try to, summarize more compactly here. Okay, so I'll take a stab at it. So you said culture in a word, culture, right? So
Yeah,
maybe you're saying like we should
little
fight like
vague.
brain rot, basically, right? Like so, even if we survive AI for 50 years, our brain is going to be mush at the end of the 50 years. So then we'll be screwed anyway. That's kind of your argument.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I
look,
mean, I
yeah.
just read an article. I just read an article about like people spending 40 hours a week in relationships, like romantic relationships with chatbots. Like, I mean, just these are things that we don't have any idea what the second order effects of like large scale cultural changes are going to be. And I don't think there's any chance if it happens too fast that we're going to be able to guide it in a okay direction where it's not just massively deteriorating to everything.
I don't know. When I hear that argument, I sort of think like, yeah, okay, society's getting worse. Let's just say like social media really gets the best of us and it makes a bunch of like social media addicted zombies. I mean, I just don't see how that translates to like the doom scenario. right? 'Cause I hear people
Mhm.
make that argument. I don't see Liron always asks like, okay, like play out this scenario, and that's always my reaction to that, right? Right, Liron?
Right.
Well, I feel like he's talking about the Idiocracy scenario.
Okay, fine,
Yeah.
but but how does that doom us? I mean, in one case it could be like a Wall-E situation where you're just like, in a zonked out, like weird sort of dystopia. I mean, but people are still like, it's not doom.
Okay, but kind of like how is a informed public supposed to make rational decisions in basically an idiocracy? Like I don't know, like Google Chrome introduced that book, and it like half of schools adopted it, and they basically got lower test scores. And AI is going to come in; they're going to convince everyone to use AI for education. It's going to have mixed results. It may even if it makes people completely dumber and not able to develop skills on their own, critical thinking abilities, like it's going to be probably adopted anyway, because it's just going to have the sort of capitalist momentum behind it. And I mean, little by little, year by year, that's going to translate into like a workforce that's not I think already like college graduates today are probably dumber than 30 years ago.
All right, yeah, good point. All right, we'll wrap up this segment. Thanks for joining us, Will.
Yeah, thanks.
Interesting.
Sorry.
All right, guys.
Sorry, I didn't have the most well thought prepared argument, but great to thanks for having me on.
No, you're good, man. No, we like it. Okay, this is a call-in show. We appreciate you guys even participating. And statistically, whenever one person steps up and participate, it's representative of like 10 other people who were thinking along the same lines but weren't brave enough to step up and tell it to our face. So yeah, thanks for Will. And I think me and Ori are of the same mind of like, okay, yeah, that's like a secondary concern, right? So maybe we're not like 100% aligned with what he's saying, but like, it's not like we strongly disagree. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, Punmaster STP in the comments is saying, I agree with Will's take on college grad. And by the way, Idiocracy, what a great movie, right, Ori?
Yeah.
Boy, it's just, and it's so good because you can already chart. Idiocracy came out in like the early 2000s, Mike Judge movie. You can already see that like, a lot of the norms in our current society have gone toward that idiocracy standard. Like the norms are kind of being torn apart. Remember Trump Covfefe, right? Back in like 2017 or whatever, right? He like tweeted Covfefe because he had a typo or whatever. And Hillary Clinton, who was the presidential candidate at the time, jumped all over him being like, Covfefe, how could this guy be the president if he can tweet something, if he can click the send button on a tweet? Like, really like the standards used to be like so anal and, and there's a good and a bad with it. I mean, there is some upside to it of like, okay, the standards are looser, so you can like have a longer dialogue, a higher bandwidth dialogue because you're not jumping down everybody's throat for every little thing. I think there's some upside to it, but then the downside to it is like, oh, okay, so we're just like throwing standards out the window. The rules of engagement, there's like no rules, so you can kind of go straight to calling everybody like a Nazi or having a conspiracy theory about them. Like I feel like we've lost a lot of like standards of thought, standards of discourse, standards of thought. Like, oh, we don't need to have like a debate with a neutral moderator, which is what Doom Debates tries to promote. We don't need to do that. We can just both, we can go on Tucker Carlson or like, a highly leftist or rightist media or whatever. We'll go in our respective echo chambers. I do feel like a lot of the advanced trends in the last 20 years or so since Idiocracy came out, are things like decorum. Think about how like it's so popular now for people in the U.S. Congress to be swearing. I feel like you have to drop an F-bomb now if you're a U.S. congressman, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and that's considered like totally fine. Like, oh yeah, I'm a man of the people. I'll just drop an F-bomb on social media or point a camera at me. Like that'll show you that I'm authentic. It's like, okay. I mean, I just if you can manage to have respectful discourse, somebody's got to do it. You represent us. I don't really like the swearing in your position. It's kind of it just shows that you're a mature thinker if you can manage to hold off on the Fs. Now that's coming from me. I've dropped a couple F-bombs on the stream. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? Maybe I should keep trying to not say the F-bomb. Certainly I wouldn't say it in like an interview, right? I'd try to hold off there, but it's actually a good point. I should have avoided those F-bombs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you really do it in interviews. You don't. I was just looking at the backstory with Idiocracy. Like, okay, yes, people are concerned about it, but how does it lead to doom? And I just looked on the wiki, and basically the scenario is people just get dumber and dumber, and then the infrastructure just deteriorates over time.
Right.
But that's
It's
still
so
not.
good.
It's so good, but I mean, but that's still like I don't know. It's not doom.
Well, remember
Like,
and the
there's still
mechanism of
society.
Idiocracy was also pointing out that the birth rate was lower, right? So smarter people were having fewer kids.
Oh, right. Which people are concerned about also. So I don't know.
Somebody in the comments is asking, how do I call in? So let me share the link, you guys again. One sec. Nice. So technically, the number of people watching is actually peak right now, 47. It's actually more than have been ever before, even though we're probably getting pretty close to winding down.
Yeah, nice.
All right, here's that link if you guys want to join live. But yeah, with Idiocracy, there's actually an interesting fertility trend now because for a long time, lower IQ people were having more kids. But I think recently there's starting to be a reversal, at least in the US, where having a kid is thought of as like this huge commitment and also taking a lot of money. Like everybody feels like they're too poor to have a kid because, financial commitment and everything, which is, somewhat justified. And as a result, you're seeing a trend where it's becoming like a status symbol, right? Where like somebody who's really well off is actually going to have that third or fourth kid or even a fifth kid, right? Like sometimes you see rich people who just have like 5 kids and be like, that's right. That's like your new Bentley is having 5 kids.
Yeah. I think this comment says it well, bride wise. I see this person commenting on a lot of the videos. I mean, if we are app idiots, that's doom, but not extinction doom. Like, yeah.
Right, exactly. Like the Wally Doom is like a nice flavor. I think it was Professor Moshe Vardy, right, who was on the show a couple months ago, and I think he has a catchphrase for it, right, which is like, we're not doomed, but we're screwed. And I think by screwed, it's like a wordplay where he means like we're gonna be like watching a lot of porn, so like we're screwed in that sense.
Oh,
Yeah, it's catchy.
I didn't realize that was part of his screwed scenario. Wow. Okay.
I think I caught the double entendre there.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, I missed a good soundboard opportunity here because I gotta, I haven't memorized. I don't have the muscle memory of where the different sounds are. I was
Yeah,
just gonna
he's
go
got
for
a
like a
like a
crowd laugh.
sex.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was actually gonna add that to the soundboard, like a sex, like
Moan,
like a
like a
moan. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I need more. What other Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff should I add? I'm a big fan of Arnold, by the way. I really like his content.
Um, hmm. It's not a tumor. I mean, that's a big one.
It's not a what?
It's not a tumor.
Oh, it's not a tumor. Yeah, I didn't see that movie. But when am I ever gonna use that? I mean, I guess I'm never gonna use Get to the Chopper, but I have that. It's like, I don't know when to bring that up. Okay, and here, I feel like here this one, I gotta find occasion to use this one.
Stop whining.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Let's see. So I
so
shared the
good.
link. So we have time for one more. Like, yeah, I mean, Arnold is such an icon. His movies. It's like he's like hams it up in some of his movies, but like, he's trying. It's always nice when somebody's trying earnestly. I think that there's a shortage in like modern society of people being like unironic in public. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody has to try to be ironic because like the only unironic people are like low IQ, right? So all the sophisticated people have to like have like 50 levels of like meta analysis. Yeah, so I was watching of course, Harry Potter movies, the original Harry Potter movies with my kids, and they're just like so earnest. I just feel like they're like really high quality. I don't watch that many movies, so I don't know if I have the greatest sense of perspective, but I just felt like all the movies were like really well done.
I don't know about that Arnold not being ironic. I think there is a hint of irony in Arnold's presence. Like he recognizes that people kind
Really?
of see that people he's aware he has like a meta analysis where people just see him as a meathead and he plays into that sometimes.
Right.
But
Yeah,
then
that's
he'll
true.
yeah.
kind of like Trump, right? It's like he does have a lot of self-awareness. You know, I give Trump credit for having self-awareness. He knows
Yeah,
what he's doing.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah, all right.
another great Arnold quote is who is your daddy and what does he do?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I heard that used in a lot of the prank calls back in the day. Yeah, somebody would just have an Arnold soundboard.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got a caller coming in. So just in terms of like, I do want to wrap up soon, and I have a few more tweets to share. Let's just pop off a quick tweet real quick, and then we'll get to the caller.
Nice.
And you know, we didn't get to talk much about Martin Casado either. That was the repost I dropped now. I mean, I encourage you guys all to go listen to it. I think it's underrated because Martin Casado in 2024, he made a bunch of points that had substance to it, had logic to it, and I feel like he's off base. So this is like a good old-fashioned episode of Doom Debates, you know, comparing my mental model to his mental model, and I just feel like his mental model is like not useful. Like specifically, he thinks that the world of AI kind of breaks down into statistics and simulation. And he mentioned that his own background, he had a big background in simulation. Like he used to work for some simulation company. I forgot which, like they were doing computer simulations of physical phenomena. And he's like, yeah, man, it's all simulation. AI is just doing a simulation. And I'm like, that doesn't really track with my understanding of like complexity theory. Like you can't really simulate your way to solving some of these problems that it's solving. Like the search space is too big. So I highly encourage everybody to go listen to that breakdown if you want some good old substantive content. And it's also interesting to be like, okay, we're 2 years ahead. Who aged better? One of the commenters said that his aged well. Okay, so I obviously disagree, but you can have your own opinion.
Wow.
All right. Here's Nate Soares tweeting, you know, co-author of If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies. He says, this is actually interesting because, you know, Anthropic, they hired Andrej Karpathy. That was in news from like a week ago, who's one of the top AI researchers in the world. He used to work for Elon. He used to work for OpenAI. Now he's coming to join Anthropic, and he's explicitly tasked with working on recursive self-improvement. Great. You know, that's not a good sign. Nate's going to be commenting on that. And then Anthropic tweeted, we've published a paper that explains our views on AI competition between the US and China. The US and Democratic allies hold the lead in frontier AI today. Read more on what it'll take to keep that lead. And then Nate Soares is tweeting, Anthropic encourages racing without even acknowledging the possibility of global coordination. They hire top scientists like Karpathy to work on the most dangerous tech, recursive self-improvement. This is not good guys' behavior. Yeah, I mean, I agree, right? It's like Anthropic has just become, you know, one of them. And, you know, there was an analogy. Scott Alexander came into the thread and they were arguing, and Scott Alexander's like, well, aren't they kind of doing the best they can? Don't you want to give them credit for that? And then I think the analogy thrown around is like, look, what if you go to your kid's school and the best teacher there is the one who says, I believe in always, whenever I'm teaching your kids, I believe in always wearing a condom. Be like, wait, what? How is that good that he's talking about wearing a condom? He's like, well, the other teachers don't wear a condom. He's like, well, why is this even on the table here to talk about a school teacher wearing a condom? And he's like, well, don't you want to give him credit that he's putting on a condom in your kid's school? And I'm like, I guess, sure. I think that's good if you're gonna even go there to put on a condom, but you know, shouldn't I be calling out that the teachers are even like, you know, getting sexual at all in any way, right? So that was like the analogy being made. And I think that's consistent with what I always say of like, okay, they're the best of the worst, but they're just legitimizing, like the fact that we're even focusing on how they're the best is legitimizing their whole crew of the worst.
Yeah. Well said. And could we go deeper on this also, which is that, did you see, I mean, it's somewhat related to this, but the 80,000 hours take on the meter report? Did you watch their video? The video that Rob Wiblin put
I
up?
think I saw it in my feed, but I didn't watch it.
It's actually it's quite good. He gives a good explanation, but I mean I know it's a separate topic, but I feel like it
Yeah.
may be worth watching some of that video. But there's one part of it you gotta watch. Here, I'll send you.
Oh yeah.
I'll send you this. Yeah, here. Here's the tweet with it, and go to like. Just go to like minute 19.
All right. So Rob Wiblin is saying Meter investigated what a rogue AI could secretly get away with inside a frontier AI lab in close collaboration with OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Anthropic, and Meta, including sending a red teamer into Anthropic to play act evil Claude for 3 weeks. Here's what stands out to me for their new 320-page report.
A red team.
Maybe go to the 1829 statement, or you can watch it all.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. 1829.
making money and getting customers. Anthropic co-founder and head of policy, Jack Clark, he recently wrote that he thinks there's a 60% chance that one AI company or other will hand over the task of developing AI to its own AI model by the end of 2028. Let's imagine he's right for a moment. I would bet that when that moment arrives, Claude Mythos 4 and Claude Mythos 5 that gets trained by Claude Mythos 4, those kinds of models won't be available to you and me. Their cyber capabilities will be too worrying. Their ability to generate new pandemics will be way too alarming. Everyone will be worried that Chinese AI companies are going to distill them, that field will loom large. And in any case, Anthropic will want to throw as much of its compute as possible back into its own recursive self-improvement loop, not be offering it to customers. As that scenario plays out, we're not going to be quibbling about what sort of user permissions Claude has. It will have every permission under the sun. It is the staff member. And we won't be debating how good it is at coming up with escape plans. A model good enough to fully replace Anthropic staff won't be hiding its secrets in base 64. It'll be able to come up with proper plans to keep things secret. I hope we don't end up in this situation. Like Jack, I think recursive self-improvement is too dangerous, and humanity would be crazy to dive in headfirst the very moment it first becomes possible. We should make it illegal, in my view. But if we don't, I at least hope Meta has a red teamer in there trying hard to figure out what bad stuff an evil Claude Mythos 4 would be able to get away with if it were so inclined. And on that note, I'll speak with you again soon.
All right. Yeah, what was your takeaway, Ori?
I mean, did you hear what he said? He said, I think we should not do recursive self-improvement, and I think it should be illegal. And it was like widely published that Andrej Karpathy is joining Anthropic to lead the recursive self-improvement team.
Right. Yeah. It's messed up. Right.
It's messed up. I mean, and also I appreciate that they're coming out on the record and saying, I think it should be illegal. I was shocked to see him say that.
Right. Yeah. Rob Wiblin, that's nice that he's taking a hard stand. And that's, so Anthropic came out and said, I mean, I remember I was scandalized a couple years ago when Amjad Masad from Replit, this was before AI was getting that close to recursive self-improvement. He just explicitly tweeted, he's like, yeah, it would be a great goal for us if we could get AI to just self-improve itself. And then somebody else was like, what about, the safety guardrails for that? Like, what are you gonna find a way to keep it safe? And he was just like, yeah, hopefully, like something like that. I'm paraphrasing the exchange. And I'm like, in my mind, this is scandalous stuff, right? This is like, intent to do something extremely dangerous for humanity. And at least Rob Wiblin is calling it out as such, respect to him. Nate Soares called it out as such, like to say, hey, I'm going to go self-improve. It's like saying, hey, all right, I'm strapping on my condom and I'm going to go be visiting every one of you guys tonight. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we'll do the call. This is gonna be the last call, and then we'll wrap it up for today. All right. Here we go. We got Henry. Hey, Henry, how's it going?
Hi, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. I have something which is I'm a German social worker working with young adults. And I have a format with a question that is not answered yet. It's a very simple riddle, and it goes like that.
All right.
A chicken comes to a dog and says, "Can I trust the humans?" And the dog says, "Of course you can trust the human. The human takes care of me. He loves me. I love him. I can go to his home, I can sleep in his bed, everything's fine." So, but the chicken was clever. He goes to the cat and asks the same question. And the cat says as well, yeah, well, no problem. You really should trust the human. So what the chicken can do is, he may trust or he may not trust the human. Now, the question for you is, how can the chicken find out if the human will put him in an evil cage or on a biological farm where he has a great life? And obviously, you know where is this leading. How can we do the same with AI?
Yeah, okay, that is a good analogy. Yeah, I mean, I guess the problem with that analogy is just that the chicken has like a low IQ for one thing, right? And like the humans could easily gaslight it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's your takeaway?
Well, I played the scenario with about now 200 young people, and nobody found a solution. All frustrated, but that's probably it's the reality.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's, that's what we fully expect, right? Is we fully expect the AI to put up convincing answers, right? Like whenever we ask it any question, if it's aware that it's being tested, like we expect it to do great, right? Even if it's cheating.
So, what would your solution, your try to find out, be in this game?
If I were the chicken, man, I mean, you gotta, I guess I would exploit to, whatever bit of intelligence I had, right? So if I thought that I was the chicken trying to get one over on the humans, I would look for their weaknesses. But the problem is that I think in the future, there's not going to be that kind of weakness, right? So, but I could invent a weakness in your scenario. I could be like, well, the chicken might go into the kitchen, right, and see if the humans are planning, if they have like instruments, right, to like slaughter chickens with, right? But that's kind of a leak in the humans game that I wouldn't expect an AI to have.
Yeah. We had some people doing that, going to a neighbor farm and stuff like that. Yeah, you can do that, but as you said, it works with a very low IQ AI.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I think this is like a good intuition pump, right? And then like when you talk about like, oh, well, we'll have AI control, so the chicken can put the humans in a box, right, and not let the humans out of the box. I mean, you can try to make analogies to everything to the chicken scenario, and I guess the components that you're teaching people are, number one, there's a big IQ gap, and number two, the testing is unreliable, right? Because like you can't really tell what somebody's true intention or what their true deal is just by asking them questions.
Yeah. Well, to end our debate, I want to give you something, which is just think about how you feel about the chicken in the factories. Nobody cares about them. And that's probably the way the AI feels about us. Okay, that's from my point of view. That was my thing.
Nice. Yeah, no, I mean, that's another good, you've got, it sounds like you're being an effective educator, right? Because you're bringing up like useful things to think about, right? When we think about the chicken in the factory, indeed,
Yeah.
like it is pretty crazy, right? That humanity's comfortable with this. Like I'm definitely, I support, animal rights or animal welfare. I think that's a great area. Bentham's Bulldog has been such a great champion for that. Lewis Bullard is another guy you guys should listen to. And I encourage everybody to donate to those kind of efforts. I personally am guilty of eating meat, okay? And my excuse is that it's like so tasty and convenient. And I like to think that the amount that it makes me more effective as a person is outweighed by that. But that's like kind of a flimsy argument because it's like, really? So I get to be like a torture enabler or whatever. Like I haven't fully reckoned with that yet. Okay, I'm not saying I'm justified, but I think your analogy is valid. Your analogy is valid that like, look, if we can justify or we can get ourselves into a position where we're kind of like these, billion chicken torturers, then don't you think that AI can stumble its way one way or the other to also being a torturer as well? And I think the answer is like, yeah, totally AI can be a torturer, right? Like there's just nothing in the laws, right? There's no robust principle that says that AI won't become a torturer of humans.
Yeah, and now you can choose if Elon Musk is the dog or the cat. That's up to you, but that was my point. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah. All right, Henry, thanks so much for making your point. Yeah, that's a great point to wrap on. All right, one sec. So let's go back to the screen share. Ori, there's one more thing I want to share. Do you have anything, Ori?
No.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on, you're still here, right? I'm getting a glitch in my stream. One sec. Okay, you can still hear me, right, Ori?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I see Henry there.
All right.
I don't know if he's still there.
Henry, are you still there?
Oh, yeah, I think maybe it's a glitch also that I'm seeing.
Okay. All right. So we got Frozen Henry. Maybe if I share my screen, then maybe it'll go away. Do you have any other content before we wrap up? I got one thing.
I mean, there was the scandalous news this week about how there was going to be an executive order reviewing reviewing AI models, and David Sachs was able to kill it.
Right. Yeah. We covered that on Warning Shots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I heard. I mean, we could always wait to report more next week when there's more news out, but I did hear something about that. Yeah, like Trump was going to do an order. And I think the nature of the order is like, look, these AI companies are getting really powerful. Like they can't just release models willy-nilly. Like there has to be some sort of cooperation, if not oversight, just cooperation and coordination, for God's sake, right? I think that's a useful frame as like a minimum, you can't just ignore it, right? You got to do something. And then I think David Sachs, for whatever reason, he came in at the last minute and he's like, well, this is, he was probably thinking, he's like, uh-oh, this is about to be signed. I found one place to use it.
That was David Sachs. He got in there before the event.
Right. And he gave Trump a call, and yeah, he's like, look, you're being too like David Sachs. I think has become like an anti-doom crusader because I've heard him say on the All In podcast and such. I mean, I think he's a smart, talented guy, no question about it. He's made his billions fair and square, but he has taken this position of like, look, we gave the doomers their chance, but then like these language models came out and they're fine. And so like, that's done. Like we've moved on. And it's like, wait for recursive self-improvement. Okay. I'm not done yet. I have a second act here on my doom claims. But yeah, so he's basically a doom dismisser.
Yeah. And there was reporting in that Elon Musk was part of the conversation too, and was also encouraging David Sachs and Trump not to sign it. But now Elon Musk is saying that he wasn't involved in it, because Elon Musk, advocating against the regulation is a really hypocritical stance, given what he said in the past about how there should be some AI regulation and oversight.
All right. So last thing, let's talk about this tweet from Nian Ransahoff. This was getting a lot of praise. She wrote a whole Substack post, highly recommended. So she's saying, new blog post, the third wave of American philanthropy. Hundreds of billions of dollars in new philanthropic capital will soon become liquid. The OpenAI Foundation holds 26% of OpenAI, worth about $220 billion at today's valuation. Anthropic's 7 co-founders have pledged to give away 80% of their wealth and have instituted the most aggressive donor matching program for employees in tech history. How much does this all add up to? And how meaningful is that in the context of this philanthropy today? I was doing some simple napkin math to wrap my head around the scale of what's coming and radicalize myself in the process. I feel like that's worth a sound effect. What's a good radicalized sound effect? I don't know.
A scream for sure. Nah.
I don't even know. Maybe like a Wilhelm scream. Yeah, I don't even know. All right. So I radicalized myself in the process. And where was I here? I had dramatically underappreciated the scale of the philanthropic capital that's about to become available and the corresponding gap in talent and organizations that will be needed to make the most of it. It's got a gasp. All right. This piece aims to directionally sketch the scale of what's coming, the gap in operational capacity needed to absorb it, and then what we can do to fill it. Okay. So long story short, there's going to be like a money tidal wave. Like those of us who remember the Sam Bankman-Fried days, right? Like when FTX was like printing money and he was throwing billions left and right. There were, I wasn't personally in a position to have a nonprofit project and get any of the money, right? I was just on the sidelines, not really paying much attention. But I heard stories where people would be like, just like random college students doing like effective altruist adjacent causes, like, hey, we're going to look into whether we should like send textbooks to Africa or whatever, right? Just an example I made up on the spot. And it's like, okay, yeah, here's $1 million, right? It was like, here's like a lot of money, like whatever you need, like we'll fund it. It's no problem. Like we're making it rain. And that was like out of control, right? Like they shouldn't have sent that much money. Like the controls weren't good enough. But the crazy thing is we're now looking at like Sam Bankman-Fried level times like 50, right? There's like some insane multiple like that. Like you think that was a lot? That was like not even a crumb compared to the amount of money that's going to be looking for, strategic ways to spend it to make the world better, especially as it relates to AI. So the obvious thought that I had, based on our position is like, okay, great. We would actually like a donation to Doom Debates. If anybody has like $1 billion, $1 billion to $1 trillion worth of capital that they're looking to deploy, we would humbly like to ask that you just peel off like a couple 100,000 and fund Doom Debates for a year. Like that would be much appreciated, right, Ori?
Yes, it would be.
Exactly right. And so those of you who are on the stream or watching the recording, we don't expect you to have those billions. Okay, I'm sure it's going to come from one of these people that Nan Ransoff is talking about. I'm sure we're going to get like $50 million as a war chest just in case, we need to get like a second host or something. Or honestly, there is stuff we can. I'm not asking for millions of dollars, but there are, if people really love Doom Debates and want to give us a lot of money, we do have like expansion ideas. Like, okay, yeah, we can set up an in-person studio. We can actually spend on marketing. We haven't really been spending on marketing the show for a while. So there are ways that we can deploy more than a couple 100,000 if we really wanted to. But my point to you is this, okay? We do have a donation page, doomdebates.com/donate. And you guys actually have been funding the show to a significant degree. I haven't been making money from the show. I also haven't been plowing money into the show. I've only been plowing my time. So it really is you guys, viewers, funding the show, funding the production. Like when clips come out, that's not me at my computer making the clips. We do have a team. We have producer Ori and multiple production interns that we've been paying $25 an hour to help produce the show. And so that is viewer funded. So what I'm telling you right now, my message to you is right now is we could use a bridge. Okay, because we know that there's paradise, there's Valhalla on the other side of this bridge where when Anthropic IPOs or whatever, right? And all these billionaires are going to throw money our way. But today, as we speak right now, we are at risk of running out of production money in like a few months. Okay, so our runway is not super long today. So if you're a viewer right now watching the show, I do encourage you to go to doomdebates.com/donate and chip in just like a tiny amount of money, like $1,000. And that will actually help us survive, like without cutting the production budget for like the next few months until all of these other monies from these billionaires come through. Okay, I'm optimistic that as long as we still are able to make payroll for like a few months, we probably will be doing fine in terms of a funding perspective because we do have like a good amount of fans in like the rationalist /AI /extremely rich from investing in Anthropic community, right? So I'm feeling pretty good about our prospects for continuing to be funded. But until then, if you're a viewer right now, you could really help a lot by donating to the show. And you can think about it as like a multiplier, right? It's like you donating $1,000 today is actually like you can take credit for like the $1 million that somebody else donates in 6 months, right? Because you made that possible because you helped the show continue to limp along on a shoestring budget, right? Until somebody funded us to a higher degree. So that is my pitch to you. All right, what would you add to that?
I don't have anything to add. I thought that was a tremendous pitch, and yeah, hopefully people can support the show. I mean, we're getting a lot of momentum, and I think I think we really appreciate the support. I mean, it is a really great vote of confidence. It feels great to get that support.
Exactly. Now, Punmaster SDP is bringing up a really good point here. He's saying, whoa, $1,000 is tiny. Okay, obviously it's not. I know that the average person, the average denizen of Earth doesn't think $1,000 is tiny. I hear you. The reason we often fixate on $1,000 is because if we were telling you to donate $20, we would kind of be wasting our time and yours because we don't have, if we had 1 million viewers, it's like, okay, great. Yeah, 10% of you donate $20. That's like serious money. But we have like thousands of viewers. Okay, we don't have millions of viewers. So getting some of our viewers to donate $20 is literally not going to change our budgeting or future noticeably, right? So it's kind of pointless to even mention the idea. However, the nice thing about the show is some of you are in a position where losing $1,000 is not going to change your life. Right. I think if you work in software, that's generally going to be your position, right? That you actually can afford $1,000. So making the pitch to our viewers, if you're somebody who's like, look, $1,000, that's a big fraction of my income, then forget it. Okay. Just, enjoy the content, tell your friends, you're still helping by publicizing the show. But if you're somebody who's like, okay, yeah, I can afford $1,000, then we're asking for the $1,000. And some of you have actually stepped up and done it. I'll be transparent with the stats. I think our stats are that, if I recall correctly, it's like plus or minus 5, but I think like 40 of you have stepped up and donated $1,000, and actually a handful of you have actually gone 10,000 plus. I'll actually shout out our biggest donor. Daniel Brockman is actually our biggest donor. He stepped up with a full Bitcoin even more than a Bitcoin. And when we were able to sell it all, we're talking about like $150,000. And honestly, his donation is more than everybody else's combined. So if you really want to be a hero, you're welcome to do that. We've had one person step up. We've had a handful of people step up at like the $5,000 or $10,000 level. So that's been the show's entire history of donations to date. And that's why we can afford to make this a pretty professional production. I mean, you can see the studio, right? I mentioned the studio costs like $28,000, right? I mean, we're making it rain here. I can also promise you that I personally, you can ask my tax CPA because he raised an eyebrow at this, but I personally have not been taking any income. He's like, why are you not taking any income? I'm like, there's no point. It's not enough money that I would personally take income from the show. Like I want to do it pure, right? So if I ever go do the show full time and quit my day job, then sure, I'm open to having that be like my job one day, but it's not right now. So I'm taking zero money whatsoever. I'm entirely taking your donations and using it to produce a show or saving it to produce the show for later. So, hopefully that's a good reason to donate while we're still on a shoestring budget. And yeah, and what else were we saying? Yeah, so you guys donating, right? This is why, to answer your question, Pun Master, okay? So it's kind of a targeted message, right? And I guess the majority of our viewers are scratching their heads like, why am I asking for $1,000? That's why, because we have like some percentage of our viewers who actually will do it. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, when you do it, we do appreciate you that you're actually moving the line item for our budget, right? So our budget actually does look different when people donate 1,000 or 5,000. We actually can, have another month of runway or whatever. And as a result, we see you as our partner in producing the show. Like, we appreciate that you're stepping up and seriously helping out with the show. And there is a top secret area that we discuss called the Mission Partners channel in the show's Discord. And you can have access to that. And mission partners sometimes get early access to episodes. They get secret information about who's agreed to debate. Like right now, as we speak right now, I can't confirm or deny this, but there may be an extremely interesting tidbit of somebody who's like agreed to come on the show, or some piece of gossip that somebody's like said that only the mission partners get to know about. If you are a mission partner, you may be thinking, wait, what are you talking about, Liron? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Which piece of gossip are you referring to? But don't say anything in the chat, because the non-mission partners just shouldn't have any information whatsoever about what's going on. Okay, don't spoil it. All right, so yeah, so you get to be a mission partner if you donate 1,000 plus. All right, anything else we should say about donations, Ori?
No, I think you said it really well. Yeah, thank you.
All right, sweet. Great, yeah, thank you for supporting Doom Debates. Thanks for all your donations so far. All right, let's wrap on that. We got hopefully everybody has a great weekend, more great episodes for you scheduled for next week, and then Less Online, action item, go to the Discord and sign up to be our intern for Less Online. All right, everybody, talk to you later.
See you later.